Good morning, pop culture. We are live. Today is Tuesday, September the 25th, 2018 at 7:47 a.m., and it's time to rock. So today's episode is a little different, a little more somber, but we're still going to have a lot of fun. We're going to pay respects to one of the men who made Star Wars what it is, Gary Kurtz, because on Sunday night, our friend and patron American Trent 007 wanted to have a Star Wars watch party for his birthday and for his Patreon exclusive hangout. And we were talking about the importance of Gary Kurtz. Little did we know he had died that evening. So once we found out the news, we decided to do an Empire Strikes Back watching. So we basically spent the last 2 nights watching his contributions to the Star Wars universe. And then today I'm going to talk a little bit more about it at greater length because it's surprising how much he's involved over George Lucas. The Force, more of a Gary Kurtz idea, not George Lucas. So we're going to learn all kinds of stuff about him today. It's going to be a fun, exciting day as always. We got tons of stuff to talk about. Your responses to the Captain Marvel video. The world is on fire with claims of sexism with this movie, and it's only going to get worse over the next 6 months. So there's all kinds of stuff that we have to look forward to in the world of entertainment because at the end of the day, they're just going to shoot themselves in the foot and kill their cause. So how many people we got here? Only 52 viewers. So we got a little bit of catching up to do before we start this morning's show. So spread the word. Let everybody know that World Class Bullshitters is live with Good Morning Pop Culture because you don't want to miss out on it. So let's see who we got here this early this morning. Oh, okay. Abomino was the first person here. I think Abomino was here last night as well. So super fan of Abomino. Oh, Abomino has the week off. Okay, makes sense. I get it now. Hello, Scott. Good morning, Tina. Hello, Jaron Ricewig. Good day to everybody. Yeah, our Empire Strikes Back watch party was a good one. It was the problem with doing really great films on this channel is the fact that you want to watch the movies as you're talking. So there will be moments of odd silence because, okay, like during the Darth Vader reveal last night, Trent and I didn't say anything, or the part where the music swells as they freeze Han Solo and Carbonite. Just moments like that, there was no speaking over them because they're so damn good. They're perfect the way they are, and I don't think our commentary adds anything to it. So for moments like that, I'm just deadly silent. But it was a lot of fun. It went well. We'll do more Star Wars stuff down the road. We got to do Solo, a Star Wars story for the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters, so that'll be coming down the pipe soonish. I don't know when, but nothing has been confirmed yet. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat. Dio is here, and he stayed up all night for this. Dio Brando, let me make sure you're not disappointed and give you a reason to stay up all day. As always, though, thank you very much. Gary Kurtz seems like a great guy. Well, Michael from Retroblast had a chance to meet Gary Kurtz. He's got his autograph. He's got a great story. Check out, just ask him on Twitter to talk about it. I'm sure he'll make a video and talk. Michael does great retrospective videos on people who've passed away. He made me really interested in watching Superman again when Margot Kidder had died. I was like, man, she was really was great as Lois Lane. And it's funny, even to this day, when they recast Lois Lane like on TV, they do try to get that Margot Kidder sassiness. So she brought a lot more to the character than people like to realize. Just because she didn't have this big career outside of Superman and the Amityville Horror doesn't mean that she wasn't important to entertainment. Yeah, Lucas is the man, but Gary Kurtz didn't get enough credit. He didn't get enough credit. In a moment, I'm going to read about I'm going to read the thing I wanted to read last night, but it was a little long to do over a commentary, and it's not even a long post. It's just like 2 paragraphs, so it's just going to take a moment. I don't know if it's sexist to tell a woman to frown. Then maybe it's sexist to tell them anything. So you know what you do is you just avoid the SJW people. They make it very obvious to who they are. Just don't, go away from them. Run. The bright colors are like in nature. Don't eat the shit that's orange or blue. Just stay away from it. So let's see what is going on this morning. Where's everybody at? I guess it's Tuesday. They're enjoying this nice weather. I don't know. What the fuck am I talking about weather for? This is not a weather channel. This is world-class bullshit. It's the epitome of pop culture. So let's talk about Gary Kurtz. While people are rolling in, I'll read this. And then you guys, throughout the morning, make sure you tell me if your favorite parts of Star Wars came from the Gary Kurtz contributions. So he was a producer who passed away on Sunday, the 23rd of September at 4:47 p.m. After living with cancer for the last year. So we're not going to talk about his whole life and career, but you guys really want to hear about the Star Wars stuff. So Gary Kurtz studied religion extensively in his early years. In this early stage of development on Star Wars, he suggested to George Lucas that he might give the film a sufficiently universal religion to help to give it more depth. That led to Kurtz working on The Force, which would go on to influence generations of fans. Lucasfilm was born under their banner and went on to make some of the most successful Hollywood films in history. Gary Kurtz developed good friendships with Universal Pictures off the back of Two-Lane Blacktop in 1971. Following that, George Lucas and Gary Kurtz brought a 2-film deal to Universal, American Graffiti and a sci-fi film that was to be Star Wars. American Graffiti was a low-budget movie that cost only $770,000, which was less than Kurtz's last movie, Two-Lane Blacktop, at $850K. But American Graffiti went on to make $140 million worldwide, which made it the lowest cost to highest profit ratio film of all time. That record was held until the Blair Witch Project in 1999. Kurtz, now 33 years old, went to renegotiate with Universal Pictures to make the second of the 2-film deal, which was going to be Star Wars. In the end, Universal passed on the project because the script was not fully developed. Gary Kurtz later closed a deal with 20th Century Fox to make Star Wars for $11 million, and off the back of this, Kurtz and Lucas set up the Star Wars Corporation. Gary Kurtz became vice president of the corporation, looking after the development of the film and also the film's other assets, such as merchandising rights and products. Star Wars was to become a troublesome production, which was complicated to the finish. It pushed special effects technology and the art of filmmaking to the limit. In order to finish the film on time, Kurtz set up a second unit and directed many of the pickup shots, most of the cockpit dogfighting scenes, and most of the Star Wars opening scene interior fight sequences on Princess Leia's ship. He then went back to the U.S. To film or to work on special effects miniatures unit at ILM, as they were struggling to complete many of the shots that were promised in England. At this point, George Lucas was not confident that they had a film to release, but in the end, Star Wars was finally finished and released to the world on May 25th, 1977, to become one of the biggest films of all time, grossing over $1.1 billion. Kurtz carried over their partnership, but both started to have desires to make different sequels to the successful film they had already released. So it was decided that Gary Kurtz would make the Star Wars sequel, Empire Strikes Back, and Lucas would make the sequel to American Graffiti, more American Graffiti. Gary Kurtz would join up with longtime friend Irvin Kershner to direct Empire. The film again pushed all limitations in filmmaking technology. The film had twice the number of sets that the first Star Wars film did, and a budget match of $18 million. Now, so far, when you learn about Gary Kurtz, it's like, why doesn't he get more credit? I hate to say it, but it's all about the narrative. He who has the money, he who can control the narrative can control history. And we're already learning this the hardest of hard ways. Lucas was more concerned with more American Graffiti. Gary Kurtz wanted to do Star Wars. Hold on, it gets better. Gary chose to film in icy Norway, where he had served as his basic training for the U.S. military corps. They filmed during Norway's coldest winter in over 25 years. The production then came back to the UK and Elstree Studios, but disaster struck when a large soundstage there caught fire during Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Gary Kurtz, again, just got on with what was needed to make the film happen and negotiated with the studio to have a new soundstage built using Lucasfilm funding. The agreement allowed them to use the stage rent-free. The new soundstage was to be sold back to the studio. This saved the production budget and only pushed filming back a few days. In the end, the Star Wars film The Empire Strikes Back was released on June 20th, 1980. At this time, Gary Kurtz started to feel that Lucasfilm had become too corporate, as he often said there were too many suits in the production office that was supposed to be full of artistic people. That started to damage the strength of the Lucas/Gary Kurtz partnership. Kurtz was asked to produce Revenge of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, and turned it down as he felt the script was too limited and that most of the script had already been seen in the first two films, i.e. Another Death Star and Sand Planet. He had worked on the Star Wars films for so many years now and wanted to continue with changing the direction of filmmaking. So that really ends his contribution with Star Wars. He ended with The Empire Strikes Back, and there is a dip in quality. Look, you may like the original trilogy like I do. You love it. But there really isn't too much debate that there's a dip in quality from Return of the Jedi, or to Return of the Jedi from The Empire Strikes Back. The novelty of Star Wars had worn off. It is the same old shit. Hell, they even recycled a lot of the same music. We can go back and listen to the Battle of Endor when they're fighting over the planet in space. It's the same shit from the Death Star. So I'm not here to rip on George Lucas, but I am here to tell you guys that Gary Kurtz, way more important than anyone realizes, and that he should get the credit that he deserves. Even in death, I think we should take a moment to remember all that he did. So, yeah, happy birthday to Mark Hamill. Today is Luke Skywalker's birthday, so congratulations, Mark. You've made it, man. You've made it a long time ago. Good for him, though. We all love Mark Hamill. Maybe we're upset with the shit that went down with, The Last Jedi, but what can we do? Now, I wanted to pull this up. I usually don't sit and search Google on a morning show, but I typed in Gary Kurtz, The Empire Strikes Back, and I find something interesting that you don't see with a lot of filmmakers or a lot of other creators. So if we look here, when you type in Gary Kurtz, Empire Strikes Back, who's there what looks like every day? There's Gary Kurtz on the Dagobah set. There's Gary Kurtz again on the Dagobah set with there's Frank Oz, Miss Piggy, Kermit the Frog, Yoda, Jim Henson, some lady. Gary Kurtz is right here with the beard, and Irvin Kershner. There he is with Chewbacca. The thing about this, and you can even go back and watch Empire of Dreams, George Lucas wasn't really there on Empire as much. He said it himself. He wanted to be in the editing bay where he can control more of the movie. Maybe he wanted to just upstage Marsha Lucas. I don't know what the case is exactly, but there is evidence of Lucas not being on set as much as other people. And here's a photo of Lucas. Here's Irvin Kershner, Gary Kurtz, George Lucas, and Lawrence Kasdan. That man would go on to spawn the man who made Lando Pando. So let's just look ahead to other stuff. But no, Gary Kurtz, his contributions can't be downplayed. And if you go back and you check out some of the stuff that he had suggested for Return of the Jedi, which we'll talk about in a moment, you'll actually kind of hate Return of the Jedi because it had some cool stuff. There were some neat ideas planned for Return of the Jedi, but again, Lucas was focused on the toys. Lucas was focused on the business aspect, and we can't really fault him because in the end, he did turn Star Wars into something even bigger than maybe Gary Kurtz could have imagined. But Return of the Jedi does suffer. So maybe there's an alternate reality out there where Gary Kurtz stays on Return of the Jedi and Star Wars was able to be what it is, minus being purchased by Disney. Chano Cyber 9 Avila, thank you very much for your super chat. Tomorrow's my birthday. Good morning, everybody. Well, Chano Cyber 9 Avila, happy early birthday. And I will remember to, just remind me to wish you a happy birthday tomorrow. And everyone here in the chat will. We want you to have a good day, man. September seems to be a pretty busy time for birthdays in terms of celebrities and our listeners. We had our friend Trent, who had just had a birthday, and a couple other people as well. So, Chano, just remind me, man. The Battle of Endor music isn't the same as Episode 4. I'm pretty positive about that. Go back and listen to it. It's just it's not the exact same thing like in Solo, but it's the same musical cues rescored. They don't do the ending, but they do the same. They do the turret music, and they also do the music. So just go back and check it out. Jeff, last night Craig from Reviews for You had proven himself to be no credit Craig after a few things that he said about the Geeks on the Geeks Gamers live chat. Asked Craig about his Steven Spielberg comment that he made. I don't know who Craig from Reviews for You is. You guys want to tell me what he said? Because I wasn't watching, and I don't know who he is. What do you think Gary Kurtz thought about the current state of Star Wars? I don't know if there's any public comments about him and Disney, but I know he wasn't too impressed with the prequels. He did say stuff about that. Let me pull it up. So let's see. Because it is interesting to hear somebody that was so involved with it not be a part of it anymore. So Gary Kurtz, that's not what I wanted to pull up. Is this it right here? No. Well, here, let's talk about what Gary Kurtz had planned for Return of the Jedi. We had an outline, and George changed everything in it, Kurtz said. Instead of a bittersweet and poignant ending, he wanted a euphoric ending with everybody happy. The original idea was that they would recover the kidnapped Han Solo in the early part of the script, and that he would die in the middle of the film in a raid on an Imperial base. George then decided he didn't want any of the principals killed. By that time, there was a really big toy sale. There were really big toy sales, and that was the reason. The discussed ending of the film that Kurtz favored presented the rebel forces in tatters, Leia grappling with her new duties as queen, and Luke walking off alone, like Clint Eastwood in a spaghetti western, as Kurtz put it. Kurtz said that the ending would have been a more emotionally nuanced finale and an epic adventure than the forced celebration of the Ewoks that essentially ended the trilogy with a teddy bear luau. Well, maybe we're fortunate that we didn't get that ending. The only reason I say that is that sounds just like the ending to The Last Jedi. So maybe it wasn't the best thing. Have I ever watched American Graffiti? Yeah. Once on TV years ago. That was back in the day where I had to watch everything George Lucas was involved with because I loved Star Wars so much. And then I woke up and was like, maybe not everything he did was perfect. Well, Han Solo also died. Like, this isn't going to turn from Gary Kurtz, the hero, to Gary Kurtz, the villain. Don't worry, that's not what this show's about. But Lucas was able to keep Star Wars alive for so long because he kept the main characters alive. Had Han Solo died in the middle of Return of the Jedi, I think you would have seen a lot of kids not want Han Solo anymore. Because Han Solo and the Princess and Luke Skywalker and all the heroes do survive, they basically leave it open-ended for you to have all the stories in your imagination. So as a kid, I can play with Star Wars stuff after Return of the Jedi and can continue to use the heroes. Killing off Han essentially makes him useless in terms of whatchamacallit, in terms of, like, you know, toy play, which I get is not important to the quality of the film. I'm not one to defend that, but I will say that it does keep Star Wars open for a lot more, because had Han Solo died, you guys probably wouldn't have got all those expanded universe novels, the ones that everyone's so passionate about, since he lived. So Lucas, I guess, at the end of the day, was right about that. Now, Return of the Jedi has problems. It could have had a different ending, but I think the ending they went with. Now, I don't think you should have had Ewoks. You should have had a planet of Wookiees, a much more savage battle. Hell, pushed the envelope to what would have been a PG-13 back in the day. Obviously, it didn't exist. I don't need to hear that, but push that to the next limit and make Star Wars a little crazier. But they didn't, and we got what we got. And Star Wars lived on for many years until Disney bought it and was evil and destroyed it. Dio Brando says Mark Hamill was on the Partridge Family. Was he? I don't know. I guess I can look that up. Mark Hamill. Partridge Family. I guess so, yeah. Mark Hamill was on an episode of the Partridge Family. Season 4, I guess. Yeah, there's images of him. Kind of weird. The Pui, thank you very much, the Pui. Top of the morning to you, Jeff. Top of the morning to you too, the Pui, and thank you very much. I wonder what Harrison Ford thought of The Last Jedi. I don't know. Let's ask him in Stealing Solo Captain's parody. But yeah, here's a photo of Mark Hamill and the Partridge Family since it was asked. It's just, Luke Skywalker. All smiles and happiness. Woo! Billy Ritchie says Beverly Hills was badass, dude. Love it. Beverly Hills Cop. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad people do take some of my recommendations and then they find themselves enjoying it. One of my favorite movies. It's weird seeing Luke in a non-Star Wars setting. It is. It really is. Tina says Harrison Ford was on the Partridge Family. Maybe I'll let me look that up too. That'll be a good laugh. Mark Hamill's on 8 is enough. He looks more like Luke here. He's got the same haircut. He looks kind of derpy here. Oh, Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill pit up. Cute boy with open plaid shirt. The Partridge Family. And then here he is in Village of the Damned. See, now this is when they should have made Star Wars Episode 7, 8, and 9. When they looked like this. So late 90s, 95, 96. I think it would have been good. But they didn't do it. Was Harrison Ford on the show? I don't think so. No, Harrison Ford was not a part of the Partridge Family, but Harrison Ford was in a really good movie called The Conversation before Star Wars. You guys should check that out. I thought that was a pretty damn good movie. Yeah, there's our boy Han. There's our boy Han. You think they will just repeat Return of the Jedi and make a second Star Killer base? Lord Shrek, if they tried that, I think they would have more problems than they can possibly imagine. I don't think they like being accused of being lazy and ripping off shit. Because before, when they did it, nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw or expected, a rehash of the same old shit. And now we're looking for it. I don't think they can get away with it because you'll have a much more vocal minority, a bigger minority, if you can make that happen, Disney. If you have a larger group of the audience, pay attention to that shit now. And people go, this is like Return of the Jedi. And there's a consensus. Well, excuse me. There is a bit of a feeling out there that Return of the Jedi is the lesser of the 3 original films. So you don't have as much goodwill with Return of the Jedi, and people are just going to kind of rip on it if they do copy off Return of the Jedi. Benobi says, Office Space was my favorite recommendation so far, Jeff. Well, thank you for checking out Office Space. It's one of my favorite films. I could watch it all the time. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. So, folks, if you haven't seen Office Space, one of the best films of 1999, I highly recommend maybe a watch party down the road. Again, it would be kind of hard to do a watch party for a comedy because we'll be laughing and quoting the whole thing the entire time. Dio Brando, thank you very much. He looks kind of like a lesbian in some of the pics. Dio Brando, yeah, he kind of does. Luke Skywalker was very effeminate before he was Luke Skywalker. Well, I should call him Mark Hamill. He's not typecast in my eyes. Fuck, he's the Joker. I've known him as the Joker longer than I'm known as Luke Skywalker, even though I didn't realize he was the Joker. People are liking The Conversation. Yeah, I like old Gene Hackman movies. It's funny how, as a kid, I knew him as the old man from that Will Smith movie and then as Lex Luthor. But then I go back and watch some of his earlier work and I'm like, damn, this guy was fantastic. So I'm a Gene Hackman fan. The older I get, the more I like him. Imagine if they made a 4th Star Wars trilogy and repeated the sequel trilogy with Episode 9 repeating The Last Jedi, for example. Ugh. Imagine if I drank myself to death on a cup of coffee. That's what would happen if they ever make that. Yeah, Luke Skywalker with Miss Piggy on the Muppet Show. Yeah, we were talking about that on last night's The Empire Strikes Back viewing party. Mark Hamill was on. I said to Trent, "Did you know that Mark Hamill played Luke Skywalker on The Muppet Show?" And he goes, "No, I didn't know that." I said, "You know what Harrison Ford was doing when he was doing that?" He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Making Raiders of the Lost Ark." The importance of their careers. Now, Mark Hamill did really embrace Star Wars and still does to this day. And thankfully, with the fan community and the way conventions and stuff like that work, Mark Hamill has a job for the rest of his life. If Mark Hamill never gets another acting gig, Mark Hamill can go from convention to convention across the world, making tens of thousands of dollars in a weekend, and he can really have it easy. People will go get him everything he wants, kiss his ass. Fans will be crying, telling him how much they love him. He's got it made, but he did put in a lot of hard work and time to get to this place. Harrison Ford has had a consistent career, so Mark Hamill gets to work conventions. Harrison Ford gets kidnapped and put in my basement and stealing Solo Captain's parody, available on Indiegogo for just a few more weeks. Chano Cyber 9 Avila, thank you very much for your super chat. One way to fix it is to make The Last Jedi a vision of the future that Luke has, and then tries to fix the outcome and make part one on that. I like it. I really do want them to make The Last Jedi not canon or a dream, like that Biggie Smalls song said. It was all a dream. I would love that. You could actually start a Star Wars movie with a hip-hop song, and I think a lot of people would forgive you if you just did that. But in all seriousness, do I think that'll happen? No. I do like your suggestion. I would love it. I do like people's suggestions on how to fix or where episode 9 could go to gloss over some of the problems with episode 8. You know, last night when we were watching Empire, I said this to Trent. I said, you know, there's so much atmosphere and everything seems so real and gritty and intense. But with the new Disney Star Wars movies, everything just seems fake. Like even faker than the prequels. Like I know there are moments where the CGI is so terrible, like in the Jedi Temple when Obi-Wan is talking to Mace Windu and Yoda's in that hover chair. That looks bad. But the stuff in Snoke's throne room looks just as bad. I remember how people would say it's the most visually stunning of all the Star Wars movies. I think maybe you say that to try to give The Last Jedi some credit, but then you go and you pay attention to the other Star Wars movies, and the visuals are just so much better, and they're done for real. And even if you don't take the done for real thing into account, you at least have one of the most stunning movies ever. You know, not today. I'm trying to think of something that has like stunning effects. Maybe they weren't stunning, but something that stood out more impressive in terms of visuals to me was Ready Player One over The Last Jedi. And even that movie was in a video game, so it was meant to look a little fake, but it still was more interesting to watch than The Last Jedi. Will I have a Return of the Jedi watch party at one point? Yes, I will. Of course I will. There will be a point where every Star Wars movie has a watch party, and as the channel grows, we may have to redo them. Now, you know, we've never done a watch party on here on the channel is the prequels. The prequels are over on our Patreon page. So if you want to hear those commentaries, check them out there. Maybe down the road when Dion's available, we'll do a watch party with the prequels. Maybe we'll get some fans on for that one. And, you know, some fans who consider themselves prequel experts, who consider the prequels their favorite Star Wars films, and we can have a discussion. That'd be interesting. Yeah, Harrison Ford got to make The Fugitive and other movies. Mark Hamill got jack shit. Mark Hamill did some TV. He did some voice work. I mean, when Harrison Ford was doing The Fugitive, Mark Hamill was the Joker. And Mark Hamill probably didn't make what Harrison... Okay, so for every Joker appearance Mark Hamill ever made, he probably didn't make what Harrison Ford made on The Fugitive alone. So I know financially they're not even in the same neighborhood, but Mark Hamill's not a bad actor. He just got a bad break. Carrie Fisher is in Blues Brothers. Yep, I love the Blues Brothers. She's also in The Burbs. She's also in Austin Powers. I think she's on the box for Austin. That may have been the reason why I rented Austin Powers as a kid, because I'm pretty sure Carrie Fisher's on the back of the box. And I was like, oh my God, Princess Leia's in another movie. And then I watched it, and I loved it, and the second one's the best. Thank you, Lord Shrek, for your compliment. Stealing Solo. One of my favorite parts about working on the comic beyond the drawing is like laying down and visualizing it in my head and then waking up, or at least opening my eyes and then writing down what I've dreamed about. That's my process. I kind of play it out like a movie in my head. So before the movie that you all get to see, which comes out after the comic you all get to read, there's a movie in my head, and I'm happy I can put it on paper or digital paper to the level I can. see. Morning, Mr. Shitter. Sorry, I'm late. Yeah, man, everyone's late this morning. I get up early. Everyone's out there having delusions of grandeur. No, I got caught in traffic trying to go buy some coffee for the Keurig, so I'm glad I made it back in time. Lord Shrek, are you prepared to rewatch The Last Jedi? Nope, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. Sorry. Star Wars: The Dallas Edition. Ooh, Bobby was in the shower the whole time. Han was in the shower the whole time. He's just like, hey guys, I'm still alive. And then they CGI Princess Leia like they did in what is that? Rogue One. And they all look into the camera like, we thought you died in The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Directed by Rian Johnson, and they all look into the camera and go, who the hell is Rian Johnson? And then they look, and then the movie just ends. I would like that. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat. Harrison Ford didn't get into a car accident. That's true. He didn't get it. Well, no, he did get into a car accident. That's how he got the famous scar on his chin. That's where his scar comes from, a car accident. But I get what you're saying. Mark Hamill had that post-Star Wars car crash. But he also did the holiday special, and this was before Star Wars even came out. And then he had the Empire Strikes Back and the rest of the Star Wars trilogy post his wreck. I don't think his face looks that bad. I just think he was typecast as Luke, or maybe was trying to do Broadway or other stuff. I think he maybe made himself too accessible in Star Wars. He's like the guy that would do everything. Harrison Ford would only do the movies. Mark Hamill would do the TV shows, the documentaries, all that stuff. Oh, Kenneth LaRock may have the answer why the views are so low this morning. Never got a notice from YouTube. Went to your page and found it going. Well, Kenneth, thank you for letting me know. The only way, guys, that we can beat YouTube is everybody, there are 221 viewers. Make sure we can get 221 thumbs up right now on the video, because the more thumbs up Good Morning Pop Culture gets, the more it becomes searchable, and the more it grows, then the more it grows, the more I can grow the channel. So everyone just hit that thumbs up button, and we'll get the channel, to 12 million subscribers by October 15th. That'd be incredible. That's possible, guys. I don't know if it's happening, but it's possible. World Class Bullshit, I hope you enjoyed the Wolfman Jack intro I sent you. I can say that Jeff, Nick, Dion, and Kenny are cool cats. Thank you, the DJD show. I'll have to check it out. Yesterday was, the show, video, live stream, all kinds of crap yesterday was going on. So I was a busy day. Yeah, getting no notifications from YouTube. Crap. Yeah, well, yeah, Rue, just remember, folks, I'll be live. Just show up every morning about 7:45, Monday through Friday. That is your best chance to make sure. That is your best bet to make sure you never miss Good Morning Pop Culture, because I'm here. I get up, roll my ass out of bed, make coffee, sit here, talk about entertainment, have fun. Oh, Jared Ricewig knows. I don't need a notification. I know you're here every weekday morning, Jeff. Folks, be like Jared Ricewig and know that I'm here every weekday morning. Poo-too. They are pretty crappy at times. I'm not even trying to make a joke about that. Not at all. So we were talking about Gary Kurtz and how he, was so important to Star Wars and doesn't really get the praise he deserves. Let's talk about the 5 people that really do deserve praise for Star Wars right now. We need to pay attention to Gary Kurtz, George Lucas, John Williams, Ralph McQuarrie, Ben Burt, and Joe Johnston. And then we got to throw in Marshall Lucas. So those 7 people are very instrumental to a lot of Star Wars success. Yes, the actors are important, but if I'm being honest with you, anybody could have played Chewbacca. Anybody could have been Darth Vader in the suit. That was the right size. Now, James Earl Jones brought a presence with the voice. But certain people in Star Wars so-and-so was in Star Wars. I get it. It's great that they were involved with Star Wars. But their contribution gets overinflated because it's Star Wars. You can't really overinflate the importance of Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, or Harrison Ford. But anybody, any Finn guy could have been C-3PO in that armor. Now, the voice, though, that's a different story. But, we mentioned Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, and how maybe sometime his life didn't really, his career didn't recover. He didn't have this big career afterwards. And you know who else kind of suffered from that was Jake Lloyd. Jake Lloyd got a really raw deal in terms of Star Wars because people hated Episode 1, and a lot of that anger was directed at a kid. Now, I'm not going to all of a sudden change my stance on Jake Lloyd. Every actor to play Anakin has problems, even Sebastian Shaw. But I don't think it should have ruined his career and his life, because now his life's kind of in the shitter. Jake Lloyd, I feel sorry for the guy. I never once have gone out of my way to, poke fun at his mental illness or anything like that. I feel bad for him, in all honesty. I feel bad for him that he's kind of suffered, and that maybe Star Wars was the beginning of the end for his career. It's not that good. Chris Wicks, thank you very much for your super chat. Smash the like button, mofos. Thank you, Chris Wicks. Yeah, you listen to Chris Wicks, folks. You live longer. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat. He became the cock knocker inside after that day. Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey says, you're a channel that regularly has a negative opinion about the current state of Star Wars and have Star Wars in the title. Of course, YouTube is going to prevent you from being known about. Yeah, well, that's where you people come in. We keep them. The funny thing is, this channel has such high engagement. You would think YouTube would be more interested in its bottom line than its agenda, but it's 2018, and that's not the case anymore. Let's see, but Jeff, George is the backbone of the franchise. We have John Williams and Lawrence Kasdan, and still the sequel trilogy doesn't feel like Star Wars. Yeah, but Lawrence Kasdan is gets too much credit for Star Wars. Lee Brackett wrote the outline for The Empire Strikes Back. It wasn't his story. He came in later. And if you pay attention to the credits of the movie, it says story by Lee Brackett, George Lucas, and Lawrence Kasdan. So he is the third man to really work on that story. And Gary Kurtz brought in Hoth and certain elements too. So, well, maybe he brought in Norway to film that. But my point is, I don't think Lawrence Kasdan is he's like the fifth Beatle of Star Wars. While his contributions are important and very much marketable, you have the new ones to prove that on his own, he's not able to tell this great story. So I think your point actually makes his contributions even less relevant to Star Wars from the past. With John Williams, isn't somebody else helping with John Williams? Like in the Force Awakens credits for the music, doesn't say John Williams for something and somebody else. Usually he just would say John Williams. So he I don't know, those guys being around don't really save it, but I'm just talking about the contribution they made back in the day and how important it was. Let's see. Yeah, Kasdan gets way too much credit. George did all the prequel scripts. Yeah, it shows. What happened to the Geeks and Gamers stream this morning / last night? Went to watch. Oh, Jeremy takes the streams down. So if you don't watch. Well, no, I don't know. I don't know what the case is. Herbert Spencer did orchestration for John Williams. He has a big team. Okay, maybe that's who it is. I know if you listen to me talk about The Force Awakens way back in 2015, I say, man, the music sounds hollow. And then Michael from Retro Blasting said the exact same thing. And I thought, from that moment on, when I started talking to Michael, I knew that this guy and I were on the same page, and we were about to have one of the best discussions I've ever had on the channel. And I still stand by it. Did I see the new Star Trek toys by McFarlane? The first two are Picard and Kirk, solid choices. The next two are Spock and Bones. No Riker, no Worf, no fucking Michael from Discovery. Or yeah, I know. I have those, Salvador. I showed those about 2 weeks ago. I covered. I remember that big mystery box I had. Yeah, I got Captain Kirk and Picard. I picked them up because I like Captain Kirk. But yeah, Mikey Spock and regular Spock are in Wave 2. Now I will pick up Spock, Mr. Spock proper, but Mikey Spock can kiss my ass. I'll never buy an action figure of, what's her name, Michael Burnham. I don't know the character. I have no emotional investment. So what? Can you not own a female black action figure? No, I don't know the character, and I don't watch your fucked up Star Trek show, so I'm not going to buy a toy based on something I don't like. You can't guilt me into spending money on shit I don't like. So there it is. So that's just a preemptive kiss my ass to anybody out there that wants to throw that at us. You know, let's see. I picked up a Spider-Man Wave Doc Ock. I didn't buy Elektra. Is it because she's a woman? No, it's because Elektra isn't really important to me in terms of a Spider-Man collection. She goes with Daredevil, and until they re-release a red Daredevil, I ain't buying an Elektra figure to go with it. And even then, I had a Kingpin and a Bullseye and all these other figures. So I didn't buy them for a reason. So I love being able to tell people that kind of stuff. It's like, hey, I'm not a fan of this. It has nothing to do with gender. It's just not a fan of a crappy character and show. Chris Wicks, thank you very much. Wake up, Soilos. Like the channel already. Yeah, like the channel. Like it. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat again. Do you know who Ron Bergman is? He is the producer of every Rian Johnson film. He's the man blowing smoke up Rian Johnson's ass, the wind beneath his wings. Oh, I know who Ron Bergman is. I talk about Ron Bergman quite a bit. Ron Bergman also gave unwavering support for Rian Johnson. If you go back and you listen to what I said on the Force Awakens, or sorry, the Last Jedi Blu-ray, which is one of our most popular videos. I believe it's like number 4 of all of our video views. I talk about Ron Bergman and how he just endlessly gives support to Rian Johnson, which is nice to give support to your friend. But in a collaborative, creative process, there are bad ideas that don't work. The Last Jedi is one big creative idea that just didn't work. So Ron Bergman is as responsible, but he's like the anti-Gary Kurtz. For as great as Star Wars was, and everybody likes to lump that onto George Lucas, we got to remember Gary Kurtz was also to give credit to. Conversely, for as bad as The Last Jedi was, and everybody likes to lump that on Rian Johnson, it was Ron Bergman that gave him all that unwavering support. All that stupidity was backed up by Ron Bergman. So thank you, Ron Bergman. You can enjoy your millions of dollars, but my God, you cannot make a Star Wars movie to save your damn life. Jeff, Daredevil is coming out October 19th. I would love to watch it, but that is the weekend of my birthday party / the end of Stealing Solo's campaign. So on the channel, we will be super busy doing live streams to promote the book, getting the word out there so people can pick it up at the last minute before it's gone. Modern movie soundtracks aren't as good as they used to be back then. Yeah, Benevolent Veteran, I agree now. If Dion was here, he would jump in the chat and say, oh, that's wrong. And then he'll quote Star Trek, but he has nothing else to talk about. There are countless great film soundtracks from back in the day. But modern movies, the Avengers theme is memorable enough, just that do, but the rest of the score is nothing. Same with Captain America. It has that like his little theme is cool, but the rest of it's just incidental music. I like movies that have soundtracks that you could listen to a movie. Okay, like Batman the Animated Series. The theme song, is the re-scoring of Danny Elfman's theme, but the way that it's used to underscore action, like when the cymbal hits, when the Batmobile's thrusters turn on, or he punches the bad guy, when the music swells. I like moments like that. There's some James Bond stuff that has that from back in the day too. Music is a very important part of the filmmaking process. Maybe that's what's missing, because people can connect emotionally with music the same way they can connect with visuals. And when you hear the music, your mind plays the visuals. So like for me, when I listen to any piece of a score from the original Star Wars flick, instantly I'm thinking of whatever scene it takes place in. It could either be the shootout in the Cell Bay, it could be the Battle of Yavin, it could be the victory celebration on Yavin 4. All those things. Nowadays, they just don't put it in there. Is it laziness? I don't know. I think it's that they're so focused on other things with filmmaking that they're missing the core elements to make their movie stand the test of time. Halloween has me excited because John Carpenter's back. John Carpenter is known as one of the all-time greats in terms of directing and film scoring. So memorable theme songs are going to come back with Halloween. They've actually released the first track from the new soundtrack already. It's called The Shape Stalks, or no, maybe it's The Shape Returns. The Shape Stalks is from the original. My point is, it kicks ass. They modernized Halloween. They got me pumped for a movie. Like, I was already interested. Then I got excited when I saw the trailer and the costume design. And now I can't wait because of the music. And I listen to it almost every day. And I'm like, man, this movie's going to be fucking awesome. If they released a track to, like, I don't know, Avengers 4 early, I really wouldn't look too into it because the music's not a part of that movie franchise. Salvador, thank you very much. There's a rumor that J.J. Abrams tried to have sex once. Legend has it he's still doing it to this day because he doesn't know how to finish anything. I'm both impressed and I feel sympathy for the lady he's with because, my God, let's say he started 15 years ago and he's still going, man. His heart must be strong as hell, or he's got, what was it, priapism? God damn, JJ. You go, man. You go, man. The Princess Mononoke soundtrack. What year was that from? I don't know. Mission Impossible. Yeah, that has good music. I don't know the whole score. I just know the Mission Impossible theme. When I watch the Mission Impossible flick, I'm waiting for them to play the Mission Impossible theme. Even the Bond. The Bond scores are decent. They're not great, but they're not as great as they used to be. Once David Arnold left, and they picked up, was it Thomas Newton? I don't know. Yeah, I think that's who does them. Not as good, not bad, but yeah. Let's see. I like film scores, but video game scores are also great. Those seem to be picking up in popularity. I've seen the Spider-Man game get a vinyl release for its soundtrack. Good for vinyl collectors. I've never once considered buying a vinyl of anything if it's not Beverly Hills Cop. But I do enjoy video game soundtracks, like the Super Smash Brothers one that came out for, was it Smash Brothers Wii U? I have a copy of that, and it's a fun soundtrack. It's got so much. It's basically one big medley of Nintendo music, but I enjoy it. The Magnificent Seven score, yeah, that is an awesome theme too. Do 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 do. Is there a difference between a film soundtrack and a movie score? Some people would tell you that. It depends. I usually, when I think of like the score, I think of the music for the movie. And then sometimes when they release it on a CD, they'll say like expanded soundtrack. Like for Beverly Hills Cop, it says expanded soundtrack. And I'm like, okay. But the score to me is the Harold Faltermeyer music. And then when I think of soundtrack, I think of like Spider-Man, for example. They had music inspired by and from the movie, and that's the soundtrack. But then they also have the Danny Elfman score, which is all the music from the movie itself. So that's how I usually differentiate it in my mind. Sometimes I jump around using the same phrase, but soundtrack, score. Think of it like this. When I'm talking about score, I'm talking about the music from straight up the movie that was used that we all hear. Born Identity and The Dark Knight changed scores big time. Yeah, Hans Zimmer, his contribution is great and terrible at the same time because everything wants to be that shit. I think we're through the experimental. To me, Hans Zimmer's scores are much like shaky cam. We're through it. We're back to big, bombastic scores where every character has an original theme. What does John Williams call them? Leitmotifs or whatever they're called. Bring it back. I like when characters have their own themes. It's we've come full circle. Old is new again, and new is passe. Dio Brando, thank you very much for your super chat. Imagine Power Rangers without a theme song. I don't want to imagine you know what, Dio Brando? I have. It's called Zhu Ranger. It's the Japanese version. The music's terrible. People may like the story more. People may like the drama and the tension more. I can't take it seriously without that pulsing guitar and synth and all that shit. That makes Power Rangers a lot cooler, much like Dragon Ball Z. You needed that to, for an American audience at least, it's a nice way to sell you the show. It's like action-packed and crazy. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z, all that shit. You need that guitar, man. You need that guitar. I don't want to imagine Indiana Jones without his theme, or Superman, or E.T. John Williams is the greatest composer of all time for film scores. I don't think there will ever be another man to take over that can match his originality. And he's still alive. He still does music, not as great as it used to be. But people want to throw out Michael Giacchino. He's done some good stuff. People want to throw out all kinds of names, but they're not as good as Hans Zimmer. They may have worked on a movie you like, but that doesn't make him the all-time great. I love Harold Faltermeyer. He was great in the 80s, but he hasn't done anything really since. So he's kind of gone by the wayside. A guy like a Hans Zimmer, maybe he did The Dark Knight and Inception, and that's cool. But John Williams scores, I don't like the movie E.T. Well, I've never seen it, so I'm being one of those people. But I know the theme. I've never seen Harry Potter. I know the music. All John Williams shit, I know those themes. They're very iconic and original. Yeah, the second you say Power Rangers Mighty Morphin theme runs through my head. Yeah, I look at the toys on my shelf and I think of the guitar and everything. I don't think of the fucking Jew Ranger where they just sing over and over. DBZ is good because Vegeta's English actor killed it. Oh, Chris Sabat. Yeah, he's cool. No, Wednesday night Jedi watch party, you and Trent. What do you say? Oh, I don't know. Trent has a job and stuff in school, so Trent was off for his birthday, and he's kind of sick, so that's why he was available. The other guys weren't available. The Ultraman theme. I don't know the Ultraman theme. I know the Ultraman character in the Super Nintendo game, but I don't know the Ultraman theme. Perth Comics knows the lyrics to the Spider-Man theme. Yeah, I love him too. It's so funny how that theme song has stuck with the character almost 50 years. Oh, wait, yeah, 50 years. That was 1967. So, yeah, it's been 51 years. Rocky score from Bill Conti. Again, folks, those are all fantastic, but they're all old. I think it's just proving my point. What modern theme songs have stuck with the characters? Maybe it's because modern films don't have memorable characters either. All these great movies that we watch, like the Marvel movies that have made all this money, they're just old characters that are being brought to film. They're being adapted for the first time, but they're not new characters. They want to act like Captain Marvel's this first. Captain Marvel was created in, 1970 something? So she's at least 40 years old as a character. Just because they use the new Kelly Sue DeConnick era costume where she's covered from her neck to her toes doesn't make it a new character. I think the quickest film from comic to film adaptation would have been Spawn. What was that, 5 years? Spawn was a new character. He really took the world by storm. I mean, hell, Deadpool, it took over 20 years to get a movie for Deadpool. Cesare Japan, thank you very much. Some Super Sentai theme songs are better than the US Power Rangers. First, Time Ranger OP is better than Time Force OP. Theme song to credit are products of their time. I do not know the Time Force Power Rangers theme at all. And if you're forcing me to think about it, I think I could rattle off the Power Rangers in Space theme, and that's it. Besides the original, because the Power Rangers in Space theme was memorable because it had words and shit. And also, it would come on right after Spider-Man or something, so I'd listen to the theme song and then watch anything else. I think I'd go to Kids WB. But Cesare Japan, I mean, you would know better than I do. I'm not a Sentai fan. I think I never grew up out of the Power Ranger phase. It's just a part of my childhood I liked. And I look back fondly, so I'll buy this shit and enjoy it. But all the Sentai stuff, I don't get. I almost did pick up a Kamen Rider / Masked Rider action figure for my vintage toy shop, but it was missing the antenna, and it was only $1. I was like, man, Masked Rider for $1? Oh, his antenna are gone. I'll pass. But I do need to pick up some stuff like that. AC/DC's Iron Man. I enjoyed the Iron Man 2 soundtrack. I listened to Shoot to Thrill about 50 times that summer. Too bad the movie kind of sucks, because I was so pumped by that song. Oh, finally. Miami Vice, Sonny Crockett. God, Crockett's theme. as well as the Miami Vice theme. Two fantastic pieces of music. Oh my God, I love it. Do I remember Life with Louie? Yes, I do. Salvador, thank you. Thank you very much, and good morning. You're forgetting a theme that pulls at my heartstrings, makes grown men shed a tear and women swoon. It defines a generation. Day, man. Oh, oh my God. Dayman is a fantastic song. God, I really wish It's Always Sunny was available on Hulu, like the new season, because I'm dying to watch it. It's my favorite sitcom, but it's not there. They want to charge a premium on Hulu, and I'm not going to pay $6 to watch that show. When it goes at the end of the season or becomes new in like a year, I'll wait. I'll watch it. I don't really think this season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is necessary. It's probably the show had a perfect ending with season 12, where Dennis left, they blew up the car, everything seemed to be, Mac was gay, Charlie got with the waitress. They're just doing this season for money, and I don't care. Listen to Payback from Miami Vice. It's a very nice track. Hey Jeff, how Stealing Solo looking? Like the Indiegogo? I'll look. I know it's doing well, and I'm excited by it, but I don't necessarily pull it up every minute. Like, I'm one of those people. I know things are going well. I don't want to. That's not about jinxing it. I'm focusing my energy on making a good product. But it's kicking ass. I mean, what we got? $31,793. So it'll hit $32,000 today. It's picking back up again in terms of backers and awareness. Don't have anything crazy new to show you, so I'll wait. But tonight on the High Council, I am going to re-show the picture of Han chained down in the basement, since the High Council has such a big audience that watches every week. Thank you, superfan Adam Shawhan. Oh, no, the actual plan to kidnap Harrison Ford. Oh, there is no actual plan that we can talk about on air. Plausible deniability. Thank you very much. Wouldn't you guys shit if this comic comes out and like he went missing for real? Like for months, people would be talking about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he crashed his plane in the wilderness, and he was living with a family of Yetis." Oh, and he survived. Yep, crazy. I only own his Gladiator score anyway. It's Far From Zimmer. I've seen Gladiator once years ago when it was new. We rented it on DVD. Good movie. I just never had the urge to watch it again. Who's hosting the High Council tonight? That would be Jeremy of Geeks and Gamers. Luckily, I get it twice in October, my birth month. So October is going to be the best month for World Class Bullshitters ever. It's our anniversary too. A lot of people don't know that the show debuted on October 21st of 2015, Back to the Future Day. Unlike our channel that says it appeared in September of 2007, which that just means when I made the channel and used to upload random wrestling video game videos. None of that stuff matters anymore. World Class Bullshitters proper, is October of 2015. Claim the Basic Instinct defense. Let's see. The FBI crawling up your asses if Harrison Ford went missing. It wouldn't be fun, though. They would come to my house. They would realize he's not here. And I'd be like, The funny part is they would really draw a lot of attention to the comic book. I'd be like, I don't have anybody. Because you'd read the story and you're like, this is nothing like what actually happened. Plus, I don't know where he's at now. It'd be so bizarre if all this just happened as the book came out. And people are like, when can I get it? I'm like, shit. That'd be bizarre. That'd be the craziest thing that could possibly happen. That'll be the next book as the comic is coming out. The real Harrison Ford goes missing. What do we do? Find out next time. Yeah, a lot of great soundtrack love, man. Back to the Future, love it. The Thing, love it. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, what I think of when I hear that theme is Star Trek: The Next Generation. I mean, because I think they just repurposed that theme for the show. Hey, Jeff, how about the full Jurassic Park theme? It makes the hair stand up on the back of my neck. It's good. It's good. I don't know what else to say besides it's good. John Williams, again, man, knocks it out of the park. Fantastic. Best composer ever in terms of film scoring. Never seen Braveheart all the way through. What's TMP? The Muppet. I don't know what TMP stands for, John. So, Sorry, Japan. Are you quoting that shitty song "How Bizarre" from the '90s? Want to know the rest? Hey, buy the rights. How bizarre. That is a oh god. We should do a '90s song show. Well, we couldn't play them, so that wouldn't work. Mr. V says, "Do it. You won't get a better promo for the comic." Probably not, but I like my freedom and I like doing this show. So to promote a comic book is not worth committing a felony. I'm just throwing that out there, guys. I'm throwing that out there. I will enjoy my freedom. I will enjoy not having to go to jail over some drawings. No, I'd be like, yo, you can check the premises. He's not here. This is not a very big house. I think people would recognize it. Star Trek the Motion Picture. Yeah, Star Trek the Motion Picture came first, and then they repurposed it for the next generation. 1979 was the movie, and 1987 was the show. I don't really like either. I know, blasphemy. I like old Star Trek. If I have to watch one, I'm watching Captain Kirk. Best. Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Bones, Sulu, McCoy, Uhura, all of them. I can't get into Wesley Crusher and all that other dumb. Will Wheaton can kiss my ass. Well, no, he can't, because he'll probably bitch about it on social media first. Swinging Cots is anything by Ennio Morricone. I do like Ennio Morricone's work on the Dollars trilogy. I listened to the Good and the Bad, the Ugly soundtrack quite a bit. That may be my favorite non-Star Wars movies outside of Beverly Hills Cop. Just based on a percentage of all the tracks I like. Have you guys ever heard of a thing where like you come up with, well, how do I phrase this? You know what? There's no right way to phrase it. You know, I always talk about how the DCEU would be great if it started with The Dark Knight and then built from there. Well, now our friends from Screen Rant are talking about it. So let me pull this up because I find this funny. I talk about this every day, almost. When we talk about DCEU stuff, I say to you guys, hey, it would be so much better. It would have been so much better had they started with Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then they build from there. But now our friend Alex Ledbetter is saying the same thing in an article on Screen Rant. Are they copying it from me? No, not claiming that at all. But I find it interesting that this is now becoming kind of a talking point for the DCEU. So let's have a good laugh at this article. Maybe a great article. Who knows? What if The Dark Knight had started the DC Extended Universe instead of Man of Steel? I mean, I've only been saying that for fucking years, but okay. It's over 5 years since DC's answer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe started, during which in that time there have been 5 movies, with many more on the horizon, with a total worldwide box office of $3.7 billion. From the outside, that would be a surefire signal of success. It's similar box office to Marvel's first half decade with one less film. Yet the real story is considerably more complex. So far, DCEU's fortunes in terms of reception have been mixed to say the least. The films, especially overseen by Zack Snyder, have proven divisive with general audiences and critics alike, although have gained a strong fan base. While Warner Brothers meddling with the in-development projects has led to the likes of Suicide Squad and especially Justice League being confused muddles, things are finally looking to gain a sense of direction with Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman 1984 shaping up as many of the other in-development projects are becoming clear. But it has been a long and pained road. I'm not gonna read all this, but basically it's saying what if. So let's check this out. What a Dark Knight led universe would have looked like. So working from the assumption that the Dark Knight trilogy would have provided the basis for the DCU after it ended, where would Warner Brothers take it? First diversion is Green Lantern. This was intended to be the start of a cosmic DC franchise that was assumed by many to have been eyed as a jumping-off point for the wider universe. Upon its release in 2011, the movie was panned and barely made its budget back, existing today as exclusively as Deadpool's punchline. Had Warner Brothers looked at expanding from the end of The Dark Knight Rises in 2012, it would have unlikely wanted to follow up with a previous year's dud, similar how The Mummy ignored Dracula Untold. or how whatever comes next in the Dark Universe will inarguably or invariably ignore the Mummy. But had the earlier shared universe planning had some impact on this movie and offered greater fortunes, we could have seen a successful Green Lantern and Hal Jordan become a founding member of the Justice League. What happens with Batman? The Dark Knight Rises left Bruce Wayne having faked his own death and finally retiring in the Mediterranean with Catwoman, spending his afternoons in the same cafe waiting for Alfred. Meanwhile, back in Gotham, John Blake starts his career as the new Batman. The status quo doesn't really set up a sequel, but there are avenues. Following Joseph Gordon-Levitt as he becomes the new Gotham Protector is the obvious direction, with him able to be a new Batman, a Nightwing figure, possibly even a darker Jean-Paul Valley imagining of basically Nightfall. However, Robin is not making up for the shortage of Batman. Would Christian Bale come back? Perhaps not. Not true. Christian Bale said he would have come back at many times. I'm not going to read this. You know what? Leave it to Screen Rant to take something fun and ruin it. Caesarea, Japan, thank you very much for Super Chat. You do know Will Wheaton got driven off social media after he reported a transgender user on another site over a silly prank and people dogpiled him. I did hear about that, but Caesarea, Japan, I never follow too much of the internet drama. Why won't it let me click off of this Super Chat? Crap. I can't read the basic messages anymore. Shit. Let's see if this works. Sorry, folks, just a second. I don't want to ignore anybody else's messages, but it didn't. There we go. Will Wheaton got driven off social media. All right, there we go. I mean, I knew he got driven off, but like I said, I don't really pay attention to internet drama with celebrities or in this community. Like, people were talking about the guy, what is it, Incredible Craig or whatever his fucking name is. I didn't pay attention to him yesterday at all. I don't have time for it. I'm focused on you guys and making content for this channel. Is EVS giving you computing lessons? Yeah, he's giving me life lessons. How to human, Pi, Rose Tico, drawing well, and fucking up your computer. The thing is, too, it's not that I don't like drama, but at the same time, I just don't care. If it doesn't really involve helping this channel grow or being involved with this community, it's not worth my time right now. The secret to success is finding what works and making sure that you continue to grow it. Don't get distracted. Don't go off on side projects. It's like when an actor decides, hey, I'm going to release an album. Well, unless you're Eddie Murphy on an off year between movies, that usually doesn't work. Does anyone really care about Don Johnson's Heartbeat? No. You didn't even probably know he had a song. He did. It's in Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's kind of shit. It's not Party All the Time good, but it's better than Respect Yourself by Bruce Willis. Oh, Orbital Layer. I would never say that this guy stole his idea from an article from me. I'm not that petty, but I do talk about this a lot, and I thought it was interesting to at least check out what they had to say. Personally, I would have had, if the Dark Knight has to be the same, I would have had no Batman stuff. We could have had Green Lantern and all this other stuff, but then with Man of Steel, I would have shown Christian Bale's Batman, or at least Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne in the film, and that got people excited. None of this who's the next Batman, dopey Batman, mopey Batman. I wouldn't have to hear Kevin Smith make defend his friend Ben Affleck, who is not the worst Batman. He just wasn't that great either. I'll have to check that out, Bonobi. I'll have to check that out. Original Blade Runner score had a good score from Vangelis. Yeah. I do like the Blade Runner score. I don't love it like a lot of people do. Then again, I don't love the movie like a lot of people do. Respect is a word I have for the film Blade Runner and Alien and a lot of other movies that people really hold highly. I have respect for RoboCop, but I don't have as much love. Movies I do love. I like science fiction stuff, but maybe I don't like the hardest of hard sci-fi. I respect it. Like T2. I love T2. I love T1. But I consider T1's a lot harder nosed sci-fi than T2. T2's just one big action picture, and that's cool with me. I love Schwarzenegger. Matrix had an okay soundtrack. Yeah, Matrix did have a good soundtrack. I haven't watched that movie in years, though. I don't own... Or wait, I own all three of them on DVD. Right? I just don't watch them. I just watched the first one. The first one's great. The second two, I didn't like. So I own it, but I don't really watch them. Listen to the Blade Runner score. Have a smoke. It will put you in an amazing zone, apparently. I don't smoke anything, but I can have a drink and listen to the Blade Runner score. And it doesn't have to be coffee. So this DC crap, it's really not that relevant. It's not that exciting. It's not even that disappointing. It's just, it's a thing. You know, right now, it's funny. We have big pieces of news come out, but overall stuff's quiet. It's like they're waiting. Maybe football season and sports are taking away the eyes from a lot of people. Like people are more focused on, that. Let's see. Let's check out what people are saying about the Magnum PI reboot. I didn't watch it. I know Chris Claremont, the best X-Men writer in history, ripped it apart and said it was derivative. Let's see what IGN says about it. Does anyone here... Well, you know what we can do? Let's take this segment to talk about bad reboots. We talk about them in movies. This could be the poster child for really bad reboots for the coming years. Now, I know certain people were mad because it's not Tom Selleck. Some people are mad because he's Hispanic. I'm mad because he doesn't have a mustache. You know, a dirty 5 o'clock shadow goatee isn't good enough facial hair for Magnum PI, at least in my eyes. So this is a reboot of a 1980s classic, which has a great theme song, cool character. Everybody loves Higgins. He's the true hero of Magnum PI, not that Tom Selleck jabroni. He should have went off to make an Indiana Jones. No, I'm just joking. Tom Selleck's fucking cool. But I'm not going to read you this stuff. We're not going to go too deep into it. I just wanted to read the verdict. The new Magnum PI is a fast-moving, flighty field day that honors the original show's snappy spirit. Naturally, without Tom Selleck or a lead who's able to match Selleck's charisma, the series is going to inherently be something else. Whether that's good or bad will be decided by history. But for now, this is a popcorn procedural that slots well on CBS. It gets a 6.3 out of 10, making it okay. CBS's Magnum PI reboot starring Jay Hernandez is a slick and silly slip and slide of empty calorie action. I think somebody was hungry when they wrote this. This is just another example of a lack of originality in Hollywood. Cesare Japan, thank you very much for your super chat. They destroyed the Ferrari 308. Unacceptable. Maybe that's their way of saying kill the past. You know. Well, we can kill the past and also kill your ratings. The Nightmare on Elm Street reboot was so bad, but the alternate ending could have helped it quite a bit. Too bad they went for action instead of horror. You know, B-Dad, Dion's wife. It was Dion, myself, and his then girlfriend, who's now his wife. We all went to see that movie back in college, and she closed her eyes the entire time. Dion basically spent $12 to take her to a movie that she refused to watch. That reminds me of the time we watched Jason X, where she laid on the floor and stared at the couch instead of watching the movie, and she was so scared. She's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. She kept screaming at the top of her lungs. If this was modern day, if we were in college today and somebody heard her screaming, I don't like it, I don't like it, somebody would have called the cops because they would have been so concerned for her safety. And the cops would be like, what's going on here? Yeah, we're watching Jason X, and she's afraid of the movie, but we won't turn it off. And they're like, really? Yeah. Thankfully, I went to college when I did. The phrase SJW didn't exist, and those people weren't prominent on campus. That is the waste of a movie ticket. But hey, I don't know. I don't really know what happened afterwards. That's not when I lived with them. I went back to the dorm and slept. That movie was dumb. At least Jason X is better than the Emoji Movie. Can you guys list me films that are worse than the Emoji Movie and make me laugh? That would be a fun way to spend a little bit of this morning's Good Morning Pop Culture. Jeff, what's the most scared you've ever been during a film at any age? Ah, that's a good question. I do like. We're getting closer to Halloween. I'll tell you this: we're what 6 days from October. I'm pumped. I just got my copy of It Blu-ray in the mail. That's what this sound is right here. Me holding my uh, copy. I'm going to be watching this again. I love it. This is the Tim Curry version. We already recorded the commentary for the 2017 It, which will be coming to Patreon early. Patrons get early exclusive access to a lot of our horror stuff. But to answer your actual question, what's the most scared I've ever been of a movie? Oh, at any age. I'm not trying to sound like a badass. I haven't been scared by a movie in a long time. And that's not because I'm trying to sound cool. It's because I don't find the movies haven't been good enough to scare me. Oh, take that back. Recently, the only one that made me very unsettled was a movie called The Den. Yeah, that's what it's called, right? The Den. It was about a girl who had her computer hacked, and then she was kidnapped and held by one of these dark web companies, and they tortured her and shit, and they were live streaming her tortured, her kidnap. It was fucked up because it was believable. That's what I didn't like about it, because it was realistic that it could happen. Michael Myers getting shot 6 times, falling out of a balcony and coming back is scary when you're 7 years old, because where is he at? What's he going to do? But as an adult, you're like, this could happen to anybody, because I don't care how bad you are. Somebody's got a gun and, like, I don't know, they could knock you unconscious. They could kill your ass. It's a crazy world. Crazy shit happens all the time. So The Den, most recently, is the film that I've been most uncomfortable from, scared by. As a child, the original Halloween got to me because I was like, oh my God, Michael Myers could be everywhere. Freddy Krueger scared me when I was little. But then I saw the movie, and I was just like, this is what I was afraid of my whole life? And then I was like, it's not that bad. Oh, when I was a kid, I saw Friday the 13th Part 3 for the first time, and then my aunt took me to Gatlinburg the next day. So we were out in the woods in a cabin, and I was a little afraid to go out on that balcony. I was just like, oh shit, what if somebody cuts my head off when I'm trying to hang out in the hot tub? I don't want to die. Yeah, the dark web stuff is scary. I had an idea for a story. Oh, you know what? Let me write that down. Instead of making the movie with Nick, that was a story Nick was too afraid to even try to adapt into a film. I said, Nick, I got an idea. Let's do this. And he goes, no, I'm afraid to do it. I ain't fucking around with the dark web. I'm going to make that a story in anthology. Seriously, guys, spread the word about Stealing Solo so we can get anthology to the recolored stage, because I really want that story, that comic to come out. You guys aren't going to regret it at all. That could be the future of our comic books, our quarterly dark sci-fi horror series. You don't have a lot of stuff like that coming out. I think it's the perfect time, too, with the Twilight Zone getting reimagined poorly. Maybe you can come to somebody like me, who enjoys classic Twilight Zone, who wants to respect that. Let's see. It seems like Hollywood loves to milk the 80s, but they also hate the 80s because it's too politically incorrect. It's really strange. I feel like you read my mind with that statement, Pete. That is how I feel Hollywood is with reboots and reimaginings. They won't push it to the limit. Now, I will give it credit. I think there are so many things that made it great. Now, if you think it's stupid, fine. More power to you. I never try to berate you or beat you into having the same opinion that I do. That's not what I'm about. But the 2017, it was so great on so many levels. Why? It felt like a film set in the 80s, made in the 80s. The kids cussed. There was a little bit of romance. It had real emotions. They don't make these kids these hollow, fake characters. Political correctness is not good for anything in terms of entertainment. You want to show a really bad character. I'm going to make him this terrible racist, this terrible violent guy. Well, then let him go the extra mile. Drop those words, say this, say that. You got to go all the way through with it to make the movies more impactful. And then when they get their comeuppance, it's even better. Michael Myers used to scare me because my dad would chase me around the house with the mask on. Now I love him, though. Michael Myers did get to me. I remember I bought the mask in high school. And when I took it home, I remember coming to my house the first time, and it was just sitting there. I'm like, I was a little uneasy. I'm like, well, it's just a rubber mask. So I wore it a bunch, and then I got so comfortable with it that Michael Myers is now funny to me. When will we get 90s nostalgia movies? Soon. I think that's the next wave. I want to get involved in that. So help us make some shit, and then we'll get 90s nostalgia. I talked about Captain Marvel yesterday. That may be the first one. Jeff, any plans for a follow-up comic after Stealing Solo? Yeah, I got tons of ideas. This Stealing Solo has been really good. Hoping it like doubles, or actually I'm hoping it more than triples so we can get to the final stretch goal, because I want to do anthology. I want to show you guys. It'll be a teaser. Everybody paid for Stealing Solo. You get a teaser for what's coming next. I would like to do anthology quarterly. I actually have, see, with crowdfunding, anything's possible. I had an idea. I went to the store and I saw this book called X-Men, not X-Men Declassified. It's like an X-Men throwback comic book. And it was one of the nicest presentations I've ever seen for a comic book. It's really big. It had like a faux leather printed cover. It had interior stuff. I want those to be like the future of my books down the road. That's where I want to take comics and anthology. I don't want to just do, you got to take into account, well, I have the same drawing skill as a lot of these guys in Comicsgate. I'm producing an equal, a great product. I'm producing books that are printed to the same caliber as DC in terms of print paper and cover and stuff. I want to go even further. I want, like, when you pick up a comic book by me, it to be an event. So I do have ideas. My next idea is to do anthology, and then hopefully Stealing Solo is so beloved by these people that people will like, I'll buy it right away, because I want to make the format even bigger, like a giant premium format comic, and maybe do anthology quarterly, and then at the end of the year put out like a big format book that collects all of them if the other ones do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got tons and tons of concepts. I hate to throw this phrase out there, but I am an artist. Maybe I don't get as artsy as other people, and I don't talk about it or dress like that. That's why I don't really fit in artist circles. I've never really been that guy, because you look at me and you don't think I'm an artist or what I do. Like, I'll go to the art stores, or I'll go to Hobby Lobby or pick up stuff, and people are like, "You're an artist?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then I'll show them stuff I've drawn. They're like, "Wow, you're really good." I'm like, "Thanks." I don't look like an artist. I don't portray myself as an artist. People are like, "You play football?" Like, I did. I don't like sports that much, but that's neither here nor there. But yes, I do have tons of concepts. Alphamar. Jesus A. Sabalos Jr., thank you very much for your super chat. Stealing Solo is # more profitable than Disney Star Wars. Yeah, it really is. And it's not going to leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. People left The Last Jedi heartbroken and angered. People are going to leave Stealing Solo going, holy shit, I didn't see that coming. And they're going to laugh, and they're going to read it again. And they're going to look for all the little subtle details and the nuances and enjoy the art and the story. So I can guarantee that one. Salvador, thank you very much for your super chat. He rolls off of her, chest rising and falling, heart rate slowing, his pupils returning to normal. He glances off at her without turning his head and whispers to himself, "I am Dion, destroyer of Dunham." Ew. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. Ugh. Salvador, thank you so much for all you do. But now, excuse this shitty... Oh, my God. You may hear... I had to open the window because it's too cool out to have the air conditioner on, but it's too hot to sit in here and die. So I apologize. It just goes to show you how stupid this neighborhood is. We had a guy on a beater car just roll up, and it was like falling apart. So you may hear some random noises. That is the beauty of my neighborhood. A piece of shit. I've heard of the poltergeist curse. Yes, I have. I might actually do a video on that, Maverick, because we're looking for new stuff to talk about, and that's a good idea. So let me write your name down. Maverick MX. And when we do it, I'll give you credit. So thank you very much. But Salvador, I am Dion, destroyer of Dunham. Maybe I'll make... Here's one thing, too, that's coming, guys. A lot of World Class Bullshitters t-shirts and stuff will be based on jokes from the show. So we'll make Dion, destroyer of Dunham, doo-doo butter, Dunham muff crumbs. Oh, God. They sound like they stink. Ooh. I saw Halloween 4 when I was 12. Didn't sleep for a couple of weeks. Mr. V, Halloween 4 was released the day I was born. So obviously you didn't see it the day it came out. But for those who did that like this channel, just know, while you were enjoying that film or not enjoying that film, depending on your opinion, little Jeff was being born in Cincinnati. Salvador says, I am become Dion, destroyer of Dunham. Again, thank you very much, Salvador. I would love a YouTube channel to make parody short films mocking Hollywood and their snobby virtue signaling culture. Barbarella Alpha, that is coming from World Class Bullshitters. We do talk about, we want to do skits, Some of these jokes that you guys present to us would never really work as a comic because it would take too long to produce. But a skit, realistically, you could knock out a script in a day and you could produce it over 3 or 4 days and we could have a full skit show. I would love World Class Bullshitters to be like Key and Peele, except there's 4 of us. I think that could be the next step in, and put us on Adult Swim, maybe like 15-minute skit show. That's where I like to imagine we'll be in the next 3 to 5 years, if not earlier. That's where I want to take it. Scariest movie for me was the Rocky Horror Picture Show for obvious reasons. Oh my God, yeah. I had to see that for college. That was an experience. Let's see, a guy rolled up in a beater. Does that mean they're using your neighborhood to film the new Joker movie? Yeah, I'm really good friends with Joaquin Phoenix. He promised to do an interview with me here on World Class Bullshitters. All I got to do is buy him a cup of coffee, and we're going to start. The actress that plays Bev in it looks like Amy Adams. She does, and she does a good job, too. Like, when we went to Horror Hound, a month ago? Yeah, that was last month we were there. All those kid actors were there, and we would see them. We talk about it on the commentary, how it was so bizarre to be walking down the hall, and there's those kids from It. And you know how there's that, like, weird stigma, like, do you talk to strange kids in public? No. With today and how everyone's so uptight and weird, you don't even make eye contact. You walk away. I just find it weird that people go, like, oh, I loved you in It, and it's just this, like, little kid staring at this, like, grown dude. And like, thanks, man. Like, as a kid, it must be so bizarre to sign autographs for a movie to strangers. I mean, good for them. I know their parents or their handlers are there, or their parents are off spending the money that the kids made from It. I'm not knocking the kids. They should have, let them do it. I just find it bizarre. Add a new Patreon tier for the TV show. Ooh, that'd be cool. Here's the thing about doing a skit show. It'd be kind of pricey. The channel does keep growing. We might be able to produce a skit or something in 2019. That could be something we plan to do, where Nick has resources. We find a place to produce it. We film it. We get it edited. Well, Nick could edit it. We could also get Ivan to help us out, and we could premiere it on the Patreon page. We are going to have our all of our Horror Hound. We have a special video that was filmed at Horror Hound that's going to be going on the Patreon for everybody. So be on the lookout for that. Pete, I like 2017 It more than the original. It's funny how It is considered so scary. I just like the story. I don't even like the clown aspect. Clowns don't scare me. I like the kids, the friendship aspect, and the town that has the horrible, terrible secret that they need to conceal. Every 30 years, there's all these killings and stuff. I just like that. I love the atmosphere of It. Even the original has the atmosphere down right. Jeff, if you played a horror character in a World Class Bullshitters debut film done right, would you play an existing fan film, or would you have your own? Ideas come pretty easily to me, so I could come up with all kinds of original stuff. If I was going to make a horror flick, though, I think the reason that horror has such a low bar for entry in terms of accessibility is because of the price, because you can make anything scary if you're good. I mean, John Carpenter was able to take a dude running around in a white Captain Kirk mask and make it scary with atmosphere, music, the right cinematographer. If I was going to make something, I would make sure that the cinematography and the lighting was on point. I don't think any of us have the ability to do that yet, so I would find someone. That's why being in this community and being friendly with everyone works. That's why I don't do YouTube beefs, because if you have a YouTube beef with somebody, that somebody you have a beef with may be the favorite channel of someone who could actually help you make a movie or a show or a skit. So it's just best to keep your nose clean out in YouTube land. Jesus A. Sabalos Jr., thank you very much. Just wanted to say how great your video on Captain Marvel was. Yeah, I appreciate everyone's support on that one. I have a strong stance on it, and much like Star Wars, I stand by the video I made. I don't think anything I said was too harsh or unfair. It's funny how people say, well, people don't criticize Iron Man or Captain America for this shit. People criticize Superman and stuff like that too. And it's not just the smile issue, the smile gate. It's the fact that she shows no emotion, and it's a bigger problem that they consider a lack of emotion a strong female character. Happiness, sadness, anger, depression, regret, all of those things are emotions that make a hero stronger. If anything, we just want Captain Marvel to be truly great. So thank you. People unsubscribed. People got mad. I don't care. You know what? I'm a man of my word. I don't say anything I regret. I didn't say anything wrong, in my opinion, to that. So, like I said, as long as I stay true to the people that are fans of this channel and always give new content to entice other people, I feel like I'm on the right path. So, Jesus, thank you very much. Oh, yeah, lots of people like it. All right, JSP says, Jeff, I sent a super chat. Well, JSP, I apologize. Let me go roll that up. JSP, thank you very much for your super chat. YouTube search Conversations with Rod Serling. Okay, I will. I love Rod Serling. I'm not trying to like over state my importance or whatever, but I do feel like Rod Serling's my spirit animal. I feel like if he was alive, how old would he be? He died. I think he'd still be dead by now. He was 50 years old in 1975 when he died. So that would make him what, 93? He probably would have been dead by now. But if I could talk to 40-year-old Rod Serling and 29-year-old Jeff, I think we had a pretty good discussion, because the guy had his finger on the pulse of what was going on. And I think Rod Serling would shed a tear, proverbially speaking, for the way society is now, because in many ways we live in the alternate 1985. We live in the bad future, the bad present. So there's good in the world. I'm just really talking about entertainment. There's a lot of good in the world. The world's not a terrible place. It's all about your perception. I see the world as a great place with great people that want to build a community in terms of entertainment and have a lot of fun. And that's what World Class Bullshitters is. But I think Rod Serling, the future that he wrote about, the dark, depressing stuff, has come true in a lot of terms. And it would be interesting to talk to him about that stuff. But I always love to watch stuff with that man. Fantastic. Okay, now we're all caught up. Again, thank you, JSP. Thanks for reminding me. I hate to miss a super chat. The Last Jedi is the scariest movie ever made, enough to make Cannibal Holocaust as comfortable as Looney Tunes cartoons. Yeah, Last Jedi is very scary. The fact that people quote it as a great Star Wars movie is even scarier. Ew. They need to use Brie Larson in correct roles like they do with Keanu Reeves. Movies where passion is shown, use her in the right roles, not a fucking superhero. I think they're just trying to make a point. They're trying to make Brie Larson. I think they're trying to take away emotion in all characters and try to make people be emotionless and care less about stuff. Maybe it's about control. Maybe it's about more than we realize. Maybe that's why they throw out so many terrible things to fans like us, to try to guilt us into feeling, oh, you're bad because you critique or talk about stuff. Wow, let's see. People are talking. All right, thanks, Bonobi. I'll check that out. I want to see Tony Stark to tell her to smile. Oh my god, I would love if they put that in the movie. I would applaud the film. The thing is, Tony Stark and every character that we talk about, they do show emotions. They talk and do the things that we request Captain Marvel. No one has any unrealistic expectations for Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. People just, I don't know. I think that they're treating the character as equals to every other character. If anything, they're putting Captain Marvel on the same playing field as Superman, the most iconic fictional character ever. Again, it's all about the firsts, guys, and I am more than happy to talk about the Captain Marvel situation, because the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really the last great thing we have in terms of entertainment that hasn't been infected by this craziness, this modern social commentary, this political shit that they're trying to infuse into all of our entertainment. Excuse me, I had spilled my coffee. I was cleaning it up as I talked about that. Superheroes aren't equal. They're not all good, but to really hit them, and basically you can win all these arguments and stuff with logic. You just got to throw logic at these people, and then they kind of self-destruct. These people will all self-destruct, but don't let them take stuff down, because they it's like an accusation. When an accusation's made about someone, even if you win in court and can prove yourself 100% innocent, people still remember that you were accused for this and that. So let's not let those people put that stink on these movies and this universe. Why are no SJWs upset that the original Captain Marvel was black? Isn't that whitewashing? Well, no, the original Captain Marvel was not black. There was Marvel, and then there was Monica Rambeau. I would actually prefer Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel, even though she wouldn't be first. I think Carol Danvers, then Rogue or whatever, she goes into the coma. Monica Rambeau is an early version of Captain Marvel. Why not? Do you need, like, if you want to be a shit about it, you could say, why are there no black females outside of Wakanda that are on the Avengers team? You know, where's Monica Rambeau? This is your one chance to do it. And then you could really kind of maybe that is the stance you could take, or should you should do what you feel is right in your heart. I just give you opportunities or hypotheticals. Hypothetically, you could really make an SJW's head explode by saying, this white, it's white privilege, this, that, and the other, because you can basically throw it all back in their face. And eventually they'll just drop their own argument to say how dumb you are, and therefore you've won the argument because you made them stop fighting for their cause. It's really, you could take a lot of pleasure in messing with these people. Let me show you guys who Monica Rambeau is. Magic Bullocks, thank you very much for your super chat. Time to create our own hero, Jeff. Captain Muff. Oh, Magic Bullocks, I will only create Captain Muff if you promise to do the voiceover work, because your voice is excellent. We had Magic Bullocks on last week for our Patreon exclusive hangout, and the dude has a cool voice, and I loved the Sean Connery. So Monica Rambeau I'll tell you about who Monica Rambeau is, and I'll show you a picture of her, because this whole Captain Marvel thing is getting it's getting dumb. But I gotta love her. She had the fro back in the day and all this stuff. And before anyone says, "Oh, that's racist to draw a black lady with a fro," or whatever kind of hair she had, it was what, 19? We'll find out exactly the 80s, and then we look at your average 80s hairdo. So I think a lot of these I keep hate to have to throw around the phrase SJWs, but it is apropos. But I'm trying to come up with a more I don't know, a churched up phrase. Here's Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. I believe this is John Romita senior artwork. You can tell by the face. Draws great looking women. But Monica Rambeau is a fictional character and superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Initially known as Captain Marvel, the character joined and eventually became the leader of the Avengers for a time. She used her codename Phantom, Pulsar, and in the beginning of 2013, Spectrum. Oh God, I hope they don't go with that one. I really don't want a superhero named after my cable provider. All right, let's learn about Monica Rambeau. The character created by Roger Stern and artist John Romita Jr. Okay, so I was incorrect. It was a Romita, just the wrong one. First appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16, October of 1982. Talking about the visual features of the character, Romita noted that originally the character was intended to look like actress Pam Grier, but her appearance was changed before publication. I love Pam Grier. I don't really talk about this, but Pam Grier is one of my all-time favorites. Nick and I will talk about our favorite women, like actresses, in terms of like the hotties. Pam Grier is on that list for me. Anyway, I took some reference of Pam Grier because I always loved her. And at the last moment, somebody said that, well, you need to use this woman here, because they thought maybe Pam Grier wasn't good looking as the model they found. It was fine, because by the time she got done by other artists, she ended up looking like a generic black character anyway. So that was John Romita's stance. The character appeared throughout the entirety of Stern's 5-year run on the Avengers, ultimately becoming the team's leader. That later made numerous appearances as a reserve member after her departure on active duty. She later received 2 one-shot titles, both by Dwayne McDuffie, rest in peace, and Mark D. Bright. She also starred Avengers Unplugged number 5, blah, 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 blah. So we had a black female Captain Marvel in the 80s who led the Avengers, and no one bitched because Marvel fans really aren't these sexist, racist assholes that were reading the books. It was just a good character who made sense. So she was born in New Orleans to Frank and Maria Rambeau. She was lieutenant in the New Orleans Harbor Patrol and operated as a cargo ship captain. Trying to prevent the creation of a dangerous weapon, Rambeau was exposed to extra-dimensional energy. As a result, she was therefore able to convert her body energy. She decided to use her powers to fight crime and name herself Captain Marvel. Rambeau sought out the Avengers for help mastering her new powers, to become a member in training, soon aiding them against Egghead. So she became a leader of the Avengers when she replaced Wasp. So again, another lady led the Avengers, and no one batted an eyelash. Why? Because comic books were progressive before progressive was a pejorative phrase. And if anything, these SJW people, and again, I apologize, I want to come up with something better than SJW, but it's the coverall. They're bitching about stuff that was resolved before they were born, before I was born, you know? And it wasn't heavy-handed. It was just great. It was cool. Let's see. We had a super chat pop up from our friend, Dio Brando. Thank you very much, Dio Brando. They were complaining about Samuel L. Jackson having more speaking lines than Brie Larson. He's been in the franchise for almost 10 years, longer than her. Yes, Samuel L. Jackson's one of the most important actresses of all time. He was actress. Excuse me. I call him an actress. Excuse me. I apologize. Samuel L. Jackson's one of the biggest actors of all time. Love the dude. I mean, he coined the phrase "motherfucker." Yes, it was around before him, but it is his phrase. When anyone says that, I think of Samuel L. Jackson. And he's more than just Nick Fury. He was in Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained. He's in The Negotiator. He's in so much stuff. Unbreakable, Coming to America, Deep Blue Sea. He's got his own brand of beer, all kinds of stuff. Throw logic at SJWs. I'm melting. Now, I think you could, if you really do find yourself in an argument with a crazy SJW about the Captain Marvel trailer, you can always use the tongue-in-cheek argument of it's racist because Monica Rambeau doesn't get to be in the movie. She's got to be relegated to a second character on the Air Force Base. What about her? Why don't we have a black female lead in her own film? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can throw that stupid crap at them. The real reason Carol Danvers is they're trying to say she's the most popular Marvel character. I saw an article from, was it the Polygon article, said she's one of the most popular Marvel characters. No, she's not. How many reboots has she had in like 5 years? They only reboot Spider-Man to renumber to sell more copies. The book's doing fine. Spider-Man's a great character. Spider-Man's popular. These other characters, more popular than Captain Marvel. Yeah, that was her in the trailer without the costume. The PCC, Political Correction Cult. I like that one. Captain Verizon Fios. People are talking about the different cable company names. Captain. My favorite Marvel game, Spider-Man 2, probably. All the Spider-Man stuff. I love it. Oh my God, Rude just has listened to our old episodes. Oops. Oh, she's Maria, the mother of Monica. Okay. They're rebooting Shaft with a Mexican girl. You can't reboot a black character as anything else because people will go up and freak out. And I like the original Shaft. I like the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft. Shaft's a cool character. You don't want a Luke Cage. You don't want white Luke Cage. You don't want white Black Panther. You don't want black James Bond. It goes both ways. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. I never heard of Captain Marvel until maybe last year. Well, there's a reason, because she's not that popular. They put her for 2 reasons. One, because they want a woman to be the face of Marvel. And 2, because the name Captain Marvel. It's branding. It's the best branding ever. Let's see. August 18 comic sales. So I could be wrong about Captain Marvel. Let's look at Comic-Con right now. Okay, let's look at this together so they can keep talking about how popular Captain Marvel is, and maybe they'll give out Captain Marvel on college campuses and people can feel enlightened, and then, women and men will just use those to clean up beer that they spill at parties, because college kids don't give a shit about this stuff. So August 2018 comic book sales to comic book shops. Estimated comic book ships to North American comic shops based on reports from Diamond Comic Distributors. Number 1, Fantastic Four. Number 2, Infinity Wars. Number 3, Batman. Number 4, Batman. Number 5, Spider-Man. Let's see, where does Captain Marvel fall? She's probably top 10, right? Where is Captain Marvel at? Where is Captain Marvel at? Wonder Woman comes in at number 47. The Life of Captain Marvel, number 57. It sold 33,101 copies. I'm just saying, I'm looking through this book. Captain Marvel, what was it, 57? There she is, Life of Captain Marvel. So for anyone that wants to tell you how woke you are by supporting Captain Marvel and how important she is in the realm, it looks like she first pops up. Let me just check one more time. Yeah, Captain Marvel appears on this list 3 times. Oh, God, 3,000 copies for whatever. 882 copies of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers Volume 2, The Miss Marvel Years. Stealing Solo is going to outsell Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers Volume 2, The Miss Marvel Years? Yes! It's a victory. I won something. But yeah, guys, 57. Number 57 on the list. So remember, when they tell you Captain Marvel's the most popular Marvel character, that's why she's getting a movie and all this shit. 57. Remember that number 57. Who's number 1? The Fantastic Four. Who's number 2? Infinity Wars. Batman is on here twice. Then Spider-Man, then Superman. Let's see. Catwoman is the first female-led comic book to make this list at number 15 with Catwoman, 64,721 copies. So, number 57, Captain Marvel. Cesare Japan, thank you very much for your super chat. Ironic that the original Captain Marvel was a DC IP. Yeah. Shazam. The big, was it the Big Red Cheese, I believe is his name. I like that. I like Shazam, Billy Batson, the Marvel episode 2, Captain Marvel, 57th greatest superhero of all time. Yeah, that's what I'll make a separate video for it. I'll just poke the bear. I'll keep poking the bear. I won't say a single sexist phrase, she or woman or, didn't sell as well as 56 other comic books that month, including Wonder Woman and Catwoman. Just saying. Jeff, no! Did it cut off? Am I here? Can you not hear me? Oh, lost audio for a few seconds. There we go. I'm here. It says I'm live. It's still people are here. Just a bit. You're back. Okay, yeah. I didn't go anywhere. I never quit in the middle of a show. Even when I gotta go to the bathroom or I'm tired, I finish out the show. At this point, I care more about the Walking Dead comic than I do the show. Well, our friend Brandon Moist is going to be coming on the channel because Brandon Moist is a patron. He's also one of the founding members of, what would I give him a credit for? There's Brandon Moist, there's Holdo's Muff, there's the screen names that have made themselves jokes on the channel. Those guys have become a part of World Class Bullshitters as much as Kendall and Nick, Dion, and maybe even myself. Well, I don't know. I'm not that humble today. no, but Brandon Moist will be on here to talk about The Walking Dead. Hey, The Walking Dead is stupid. I'm not a fan. I wouldn't call it the most proudest of accomplishments, but I'm glad Stealing Solo is doing good. I am too. Remember, I'm one guy that's creating this book. I'm paying a colorist. I'm paying somebody to letter and format the book. And it's just one dude as my first comic. Captain Marvel's an established brand from the biggest comic book company in history. But, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to beat their book. Justin Ward, thank you very much for your super chat. Blade and Storm were black before woke was a thing. And they're both excellent characters. If you ask me my favorite female superhero, I'm probably going to say Storm. Storm's cool. She's got the best superpower. She can do all kinds of crazy stuff, and she's not uptight. She looks cool. She acts cool. She's a queen. She marries Black Panther. I think they get a divorce over Civil War, maybe. But she's an interesting, great character, and I love the X-Men, all of them, male and female. I really don't have any dislike for... I don't have a dislike for any character based on gender. The only reason I don't really like Jean Grey is because on the X-Men cartoon, she goes, Scott, oh, and she would fall down because of her psychic powers. And as a kid, I didn't pick up that's what was happening. I just thought she fell over and got tired a lot. I'm like, why does anyone like Jean Grey? She sucks. Rogue kicked ass too. Rogue may be my second favorite female superhero. She just kicks ass. And I like the dynamic how she wants a human's touch, but she can never get it because it'll suck up their powers. They split from AVX. Okay, I knew I read the book. I had all the AVX books in my other room. Yeah, I loved AVX. Maybe some people didn't like it, but I had fun with it. And they even had the AVX Versus series where it was just straight up fights between heroes. I had fun with that too. Do I still hate Collider? I don't think they do any good for the fan movie studio relationship. I don't hate is too strong of a word. I don't hate John Campy. I don't hate anybody. Hell, even the dude that used to be my friend that tried to screw my mom over at work once, I don't hate him. I just don't interact with them because they serve no purpose in my life. So Collider and Screen Junkies and all those people, I don't like how they try to act. They're basically advertising arms. It's not my crusade to make sure they disappear. I'm not even on a crusade. But I do want to bring attention to the fact that if you go to them as a credible, reliable source for a review, they are bought and paid for by big studios. So you have to pay that attention to that because they're the type of place that tell you The Last Jedi is great because it's the hip thing to do. It's the message that they're trying to push, the agenda. And then I even said, you can go back and watch videos. Solo's going to suffer critically. It's going to get its honest scores because they don't want to look like they're biased. Tim says there's a video on YouTube called Why Jean Grey Sucks. It's clip after clip of her moaning after she gets her ass kicked. I'm going to watch that after I go off the air. I love how dumb she is in that show. Oh, Scott. Ah. Jubilee was just as annoying in the comics. She was fine. I always looked at her as the lens to get into the show. She was us. You know how Luke Skywalker is our lens into this bigger universe in the first Star Wars movie. Wow, I can't wait until Jeff True Hollywood Stories and biography book. I'm going to make it, guys. I'm going to have some crazy stories. You know, the funny part is I bet I would get along with a lot of these people better than they think and could become friends. I mean, not Brie Larson. You need to shower if you're going to hang out with me. But some people. I always felt like I'd get along pretty well with like Seth Rogen or somebody. I don't get high, but I do feel like we'd have a lot of dumb shit to talk about. Too bad in the live-action X-Men movie, Singer ruined a depowered Rogue. Anna Paquin was bland and boring. Yeah, she wasn't the best choice. Rogue should have been cooler, should have flew around. I know she didn't get the Captain Marvel powers. I get that. But maybe just you gloss over other stuff in these movies. Why not let her fly? Why not let her do cool shit? Stealing Solo is a world-class triumph. Well, thank you very much, Benobi. It's exciting to know that so many people want this comic. It is. If they just erased Gambit and Jubilee from the continuity, I could die happy. You don't like Gambit? I love Gambit. Now, unless Gambit and Jubilee is a book that I'm missing out on, I think Gambit's cool. He's one of the best parts of that cartoon. Have you guys seen the episode where a woman from his past tries to take him back? Or like, Remy, the tribute, or yeah. And they're trying to like make some deal with like these intergalactic beings for their powers, the thieves, something. And Rogue is like, Remy or Gambit's married, all this shit. It's a good episode. It's a good episode. Yeah, a lot of people like Gambit. Yeah, oh my god, every chat here is just Gambit was awesome for the last months. A Christian Harloff and me podcast would be interesting. Well, he'll never come on this show. So, and that's not, he's not invited, he just wouldn't show up. But that's fine. I don't expect to be accepted by, here's the thing. I look at it, there are different tiers of entertainers. There's YouTubers, which I'm at, and there's nothing wrong. There's no shame in being a YouTuber. It's a very good thing. Got a lot of great people out there that like the show. Then there is the bought and paid for media. Those are the people who are like barely a step above YouTubers, but they have backing. Like they get paid to do this. They get paid no matter how well. And then you have the A-list celebrities that get paid per performance. Can't speak for performances and stuff like that. You're like a Kathy Griffin or something. There's Spectre. In between, you have different people. You have a Leia Remini, you have a Tom Cruise, you have a Catherine Zeta-Jones. You just have people. But I look at it like there's 3 levels of it, and we're in the YouTube tier, and I look for us to not have to worry about ingratiating ourselves with the bought and paid for era. Just jump to the Z list and then work our way up eventually by making content that people want to consume. Because the way you can shut up all these people and the way you can beat YouTube, all these other things that try to hold you down, is make the best shit possible. It's funny that I sound like a transformer with my full bars. I apologize. Salvador, thank you very much for your super chat. As promised, I emailed you the links regarding the Cable Bishop the Cable and Bishop in the Messiah Complex War Story Arc. World Class BS at mail, correct? Yes, correct. Is it back? I'm malfunctioning. Do you guys hear me now? Update my robot firmware. Am I R2D2? I can't use that language on the internet. That's offensive. I love the 90s X-Men animated series, but damn, Wolverine said, "Get out of my way," almost every episode. Maybe he did. I need to go back and rewatch that. Super chat, I'm going to read it again. I was robot and beep booping out of here. As promised, I emailed you the links regarding Cable and Bishop and the Messiah Complex / War Story Arc. World Class at bs@mail.com, correct? Yes. Thank you very much, Salvador. All I was trying to say to you guys before I roboted out, hopefully you heard this, we're talking about the Christian Harloff podcast that somebody jokingly said they'd love to see. I said it'll never happen, not because he's not welcomed here, but because a channel like this would not be welcomed there. Other channels that people want us to collaborate have called us. I look past that kind of stuff. But my point is, there's 3 tiers of celebrity, or 3 tiers of this entertainment. There are the YouTubers that we're at. Then there are the bought and paid for people that think they're celebrities, but they're really just glorified YouTubers that, you know, have a paycheck that comes from schools. And then there's real celebrities, the Z list through A list. So Rock is the top of the A list, Kathy Griffin else is in between. We look to jump past the bought and paid for celebrities. Now, that's not saying that everybody that's involved with a Screen Junkies or Collider are assholes. Like John Schnepp, who passed away, I thought he was pretty cool. I liked his work. Nick Mundy. I love Nick Mundy. I think he's a step above all those other people that have ever appeared on Screen Junkies. He's an entertainer. He's fun to listen to. Listen to him talk to Chris Jericho. Fantastic guy. This one's for you, Morph. I love that cartoon. Maybe we'll do a watch party down the road when they become available on stream. John Schnepp was a good guy, but he was extremely left. Yeah, but you know what? Your political leaning doesn't make you a good or bad person. You may have disagreements about stuff with people, but you can still like them at the end of the day. So I always try to look past that stuff. Now, if they're trying to infect and ruin entertainment, then I just can't stand behind their taste in movies and TV shows. Just thought, I think Jeremy Jahns might do a podcast with you. Yeah, I've never said anything about him in a bad way that I wouldn't say, like, hey, man, I think you're wrong about Spider-Man or X, Y, and Z. You can go back and check it out. He would be always welcomed on this channel. I'll still subscribe to him. I don't hate him. I don't think he is a bad guy. Now, Chris Stuckman, I don't really like him as much. Not on a personal level, but on an entertainment basis, his movie reviews just aren't for me. So, again, he'd be welcomed on the channel, but I would much rather interact with Jeremy Jahns or what's that guy name? Oh, God, the guy, Fanboy Flicks, the guy out of Canada. I could probably get him on the show. He's cool. His name's Mark, I think. I love his videos. I'm actually trying to get the Garbage Day guy on the channel, as well as Tommy Lee Wallace. We're Facebook friends. I got to just get the shit taken care of. But yeah, I'm always up for more collaboration. At the end of the day, I just want to make stuff that you guys want to watch. It's not about what I want to watch, because the shit I want to watch exists. I can go watch Beverly Hills Cop, and I'm having a good day. Get a pizza and Axel Foley, and that's all I need until I need another beer and another slice of pizza, and it's time for Beverly Hills Cop 2. Let's be honest, I'd have finished that whole pizza by the time Beverly Hills Cop's over. There's a transformer mosquito in your room. I'm being listened to. Man. It's sad. I'm on a good roll talking about stuff. And all it just keeps cutting in, cutting out. World Class Bullshitters, 5 million subscribers. I'm ready for that shit, guys. I'm ready for that. We're almost to 100,000. We'll be at 75 behind the scenes today, so that'll be a nice thing. Yeah, keep it rolling. YouTube trying to silence me. I don't know what the deal is. I'm not playing anything copywritten on the channel. I'm not, even in the broadest sense of the definition. Here's the thing. I don't like censorship of language. What I do like, though, is having to be more creative to get your message out, much like Batman the Animated Series. Now, I'm not saying I'm Paul Dini or Bruce Timm, but I can draw pretty well. I can write pretty well. But Batman the Animated Series couldn't show violence or certain elements. So they had to play around with it and not show you stuff and make it, it's inferred. Your mind plays tricks on you. You think you saw what you saw, type of thing. And with the way YouTube's archaic policies are, I just try to say things in a different manner to circumvent that, but also hit you stronger with the message. Bonobi joined at 23,000. Well, Bonobi, thank you for the last 52,000 subscribers. 24-hour stream for 1 million subscriber special. Yeah, I would. When we hit 1 million subscribers, they say dream big, shoot for the moon, you'll land among the stars. I said I'm going to hit 100,000 by the end of this year, and I'm going to do it. Next year, we'll shoot for 1 million. We grew 10 times this year. Why not 10 times next year? It's a Star Wars year. It's all built up to episode 9. So there we are. That's the plan. Let's see, Cereal is Stew. Did the sound go dead again? Damn it. Let's see. Brad, Alec Munoz joined at 30K. Thank you very much. You've been here for a while. There's a Rift Tracks version of The Last Jedi. I don't know if I could handle that. The Rift Tracks guys kind of pissed me off because I paid to go see Samurai Cop in theaters, the Rift Tracks edition, and they censored the movie. And they do that for The Room, but they censored Samurai Cop. And there's no more gratuitous nudity in Samurai Cop than there is The Room. So because they couldn't joke about it, Samurai Cop, they tried to make into the next room. They were trying to make money off of it and say it's so bad, it's good type of thing, but it didn't work out. The consistency in today's show is still better than The Last Jedi. You damn right it is. I'm working hard, man. Even bullshit internet connection. At least you're growing, Jeff. I just checked the channel Star Wars again, and they're still at the same 800 plus subs. You know, I wish everybody the best of luck with their growth. I don't care, even if I disagree with them or they hate this channel. You can be a highly produced video. You can be a kid in your bedroom. Best of luck to you, man. I don't need to tear you down to build myself up. That's just not how I operate as a person or a channel. You notice we don't get into beefs. When we had Mundane Matt on here, my piece to him was said, and I'd say it again. Didn't call him names. Don't poke at, do any of this shit. Just if you will. Mr. Pete says, my problem with Chris Tucker thinks he's super smart, but he comes off as really pretentious. If you debated with him on The Last Jedi, he would be crying. That would be fun to debate him on The Last Jedi. I did get that a lot. I will give him credit, though. He did say something about Spider-Man that made me happy. And Movie Bob. I don't even like those guys that much. But they do have good points that I agree with on Spider-Man from 2002. And Chris Stuckman said, I don't know why everyone calls the Green Goblin a Power Ranger costume. People only started saying that because they read it on the internet. And I agree. It wasn't Power Rangers-esque back then. Even I watched the movie when it was new, and I watched Power Rangers growing up, and I didn't think Green Ranger. I thought Techno Green Goblin. So I'll give him that credit. But other than that, I still don't do it. Geeks and Gamers has the High Council tonight, guys. Stealing Solo is better than The Last Jedi. You damn right it is. Guaranteed. College Student, I'm hoping one day to get 20 subs. Well, College Student FMU, let me join your channel right now so I can help you. So where are you at? I don't even know what you cover, but you know what? I'll subscribe to you. There we go. So you got number 2. May not be your first subscriber, but world-class bullshitters. You know, first is worst, second is best. Third is the one with the hairy chest. I don't know. That's grade school shit. We don't talk about that. Weird Al's ode to a superhero. In all seriousness, what happened to Mundane Matt? Just Google Mundane Matt Kumite. It's way too complex to cover here on this channel. Again, it's internet drama. We're only tangentially involved. I think that helped with the growth, though, because he was on the High Council here on this channel, and I mentioned his name in the subject, so people were searching for it for a while. So check it out. It's some drama that went on. Magic Bullock says, can I do an audio commentary with you boys on Beverly Hills Cop? Love that film. I like the sequel just as much. The third film, it's very moist. Magic Bullocks, yes, you can. I'm glad you asked, because you're a patron. That is now your request, and you picked one of my favorite movies. So I'll make sure Dion is available for that evening. So it'll be the 3 of us. I'll invite Nick and Kendo as well. They're always welcome to everything we do, but I'll make sure that you're on that one. So Magic Bolts, just post it to the Patreon page to remind me, because I gladly will do that. Yeah, wait a minute, Matt, no! Matt, no. Yeah, that is the quote of YouTube 2018. Razorfist skipped on my super chats. I didn't miss any super chats today. I'm pretty good at the show. I have time to pay attention to all that stuff. How about stealing EVS? And he is one found because people follow the pies. Could do a comic on Ethan. Maybe down the road. Does Dion like horse films? I don't know. We've never watched War Horse. Maybe we will. Somebody send me that. I'm gonna have a PO box before Christmas time. Send me stuff, and we'll have a joke Christmas opening. I'll have my mom wrap the packages you guys send, and I'll open them on camera. Salvador, thank you very much for your super chat. Says last super chat for a while, Jeff. Switching to night shift, won't be able to see Good Morning Pop Culture live for some time. See you on the night streams, Salvador. See you on the night streams as well. And thank you for all that you've done for the channel. I won't forget it. I'll always appreciate it. And in October, if you're going to be working nights, there's going to be a lot of night live streams. So they're going to be Halloween themed for fun for the holidays. But there'll be morning and there'll be night shows, so I'll get less sleep as the month goes on, but it'll be worth it. It's funny. Pete says it's funny because I used to like Stuckman a lot until he slowly exposed he was bought and paid for by Hollywood as a YouTube reviewer. I changed that because I didn't want to stumble over words. Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of these people. The Last Jedi was really, really telling. I think The Last Jedi was an attempt by a major Hollywood studio to buy critic praise and get so much hype for a movie that, here's the thing, Disney's smart. I can bitch about Disney Star Wars movies. I can bitch about Disney movies all day long, but Disney is the smartest studio. They know what they're trying to do. They know what they want to do. I firmly believe that Disney knew The Last Jedi was a stinker. So they put out the whole, you have to have it screening in your biggest auditorium for a month thing, and they threatened the, movie cinemas, and they pulled off this whole, we're going to give you X amount of what for praise, and it worked, and it got $1.3 billion, but it now damaged Star Wars, and Solo was the sacrifice. They sacrificed Solo to build up The Last Jedi, but it also opened up a lot of people's eyes. They didn't expect a channel like this or Geeks and Gamers or Ethan's channel to pop up and be like, hey guys, look at what they've been doing. Look at all the tricks they've been trying to pull. We've opened up a lot of people's eyes. So that's The Last Jedi has done a lot of good, though, from the way I look at YouTube reviewers and hubba, money, who do you trust? Well, I don't trust anyone that gets the red carpet treatment who's just a regular average Joe. I'm much more inclined to take the opinion of some dude who paid for the movie himself, or is a honest to God critic like a Roz Weston who does go out of his way to say, hey, I'm not a shill X, Y, and Z. That's why I trust that dude. But The Last Jedi exposed a lot of that. Mr. V, thank you very much for a super chat. Dion should watch Zoo from 2007. To get drunk and watch a lot of movies. We'll put that next on the list. What if Vin Diesel came on the show? That'd be awesome. I would ask him to say more than I am Groot, but I'd love to have Vin Diesel on the channel. He's a fun actor. I really like him a lot. Example, Star Wars Theory out of nowhere, now a huge channel. Probably. The funniest thing about this channel is a lot of people get the wrong, something happens and they listen to it and they go, wow, I was wrong, and they really get involved. I know Michael from Retro Blasting got a lot of shit for coming on this channel. They think, oh, this is a hate channel. Well, those people are fucking idiots. So maybe I just proved them right. But listen to the message. It's not about hate. It's about critiquing and entertainment. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Vin Diesel and The Rock are world-class bullshitters. I would love to have The Rock on the channel. The other guys who are no longer on the show would be super jealous. They'll be super jealous when we get to the next level. It's like, yeah, The Rock's stopping by, folks. Rock's stopping by the studio to promote Jumanji 5, and I'm here to ask him about his greatest wrestling match or something. That would be kind of fun. Do the deleted scenes from Empire show Luke drinking Tauntaun milk? Yeah, they do. My data from Star Trek The Next Generation. I'm not that white. It's also about maintaining accountability as well. Yeah, Cadmium Red, you're right. You do gotta maintain. The Last Jedi just exposed so much hypocrisy and behind the scenes garbage and drama. And for the first time in a long time, it didn't work out in Hollywood's favor. So they just need to do right by the fans. It's not hard to do right by the fans. You got to just allow yourself. You got to allow your ego to take a back seat. The hubris is what will kill Hollywood. The weird backroom dealings and all this weird, crazy shit and the forcing of agendas and ideologies will be what kills Hollywood. It's not going to be, not going to be us. It's going to be them and turning us away. Rock's episode title, Between a Rock and a World-Class Place. Jeff, do you think you could take The Rock on one-on-one if given a chance to fight him? Probably not, because I wouldn't want to hit The Rock. I mean, he is my favorite wrestler. I'd be like, why are we going to fight? I think he would look at me like, why would we fight? What's the beef? I mean, you're not in wrestling, so it's not like I have the title and you won it. So, I don't know. I would like to challenge The Rock, though, in a match of 2K18, the video game. That'd be a lot of fun. I would beat The Rock's ass as The Rock in the video game. That's what I would do. That's what I'd do, man. It'd be nice if Harrison Ford would come on the channel. He would tell us to fuck off. In the nicest of ways, though. Korg made of rocks versus The Rock. What about Skyscraper Rock with one leg? I would just kick out his fake leg and run away. I know. I wouldn't run away. I'd hit him with people's elbow as he's down. He's like, my pride, my pride. Elbow drop. And I'd breathe in the electricity. Rock versus Jeff. My muff money is on Jeff. Well, thank you, Abomino. I should have Anthony and Gruber on. That'd be fun. I feel like that's very doable. We'll title the stream, The Man Who Should Be Han Solo. Anthony and Gruber, live. If you guys have an email or a way to contact him, shoot us an email, worldclassbs@mail.com, bestmail.com, and we'll see what he says. Do I cover all kinds of geek culture stuff, even toys? Even toys? I think most people found this channel because I cover toys. Yeah, Bushin Ryu Cat. I do cover toys. We just had a toy video come out the other day. We're the channel that talks about how Star Wars toys don't move anymore. So let me show you my channel page real quick. Now let's see our popular videos. Our fourth most viewed video is a Star Wars toy video. So where I go in and film Toys R Us, and then let's see, further down the list is a handful of toy videos. So I say that in a joking manner. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you stopping by, joining us. Join us. It's fun. It's a fun community. But yeah, I talk about toys quite a bit. If you want to hear me talk about toys extensively, go back and watch the live stream, Jeff's Magic Box or whatever, where I actually turn on the camera and I show a box of toys I got in the mail. And I talk about collectibles all the time. It's actually dangerous for me to talk about toys because I'm like, oh my God, we could talk for 12 hours about action figures. And then I start buying them. And then I'm just like, fuck, I don't have space in this tiny ass room for any more toys. But yes, Bushin Ryu Cat, I do cover toys. And I'd love for you to check them out. And if you like toys, talk to me about them too. Ask questions. Tell me what you enjoy. It's a fun thing to talk about. Alec Munoz, the J.J. Abrams posted a time's up pick for Kavanaugh. Who's Kavanaugh? Alec Munoz, I wish I knew what you were talking about, man. I'd love to talk more about that. I hate leaving people's chats open-ended like that. Mondi found this channel because of the Star Wars toy videos. R3MCO found the Tico Tower video. You know, the Tico Tower is one of the few videos we got a copyright ding. You can't monetize this video, and it was worth it because of the joke. Like I will forego monetization for a good joke at times. Oh, okay. Brett Kavanaugh nominated for Supreme Court. I don't even follow politics, guys. I'm so busy doing other shit. That's cool. Well, I don't watch the news. I feel like the news is a waste of time because you're either being lied to for one thing, or you're being lied to for another thing, or you're being sold something else. Advertisement, lie, advertisement, lie. It's like when you watch a football game, you get like 2 minutes of football, 12 minutes of ads. 2 minutes of football, 12 minutes of ads. The only time I want to watch commercials is during the Super Bowl. Tico Tower is my favorite game to play when visiting toy stores. Well, Lonnie, we don't have toy stores around here that aren't vintage ones. And out of respect for those guys, plus they don't buy Rose Tico toys because nobody does. But out of respect for those guys, I would never kick a tower of toys in a classic toy store. Chris has been following us ever since the Force Awakens review and actually felt the same and honestly thought it was watching a fan-made version of New Hope. So Chris has been here for almost 3 years. So give it up for Chris. Channel Dad Brian Lape is here too. I'm so glad people heard that video. That was the first time where I just turned on a microphone and let whatever had to be said on the channel. Just, stream of consciousness, straight up emotion. Jeff, I missed the Toy Box video you just mentioned. What's it called? It is I think it's last Friday's Good Morning Pop Culture, so it's called like Jeff's Mystery Box or some dumb shit like that. Let's see, what is it called? Why did it get burned? Let's see. If you want to watch the most recent one called King of the Dollar Store, Star Wars toys, that's doing well. That came out last week. But if you want to watch the one where I open up the toys, where was it at? Shit. Even I can't find it on my own channel. Shit. Sorry, guys. Wow. Why is my brain frying like this? I guess because it's time to go. And it's my way. It's called Jeff's Big Box and the new DC streaming service. So it was 1 week ago. It's the video right before they're gutting my Toys R Us. So there we go. Figured it out. Found it for you guys. So guys, I think it's time to go. It's time to do some stuff. So let's close this stream out. So folks, thank you for everyone who has stuck with us this morning. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a good day. And thank you to everyone who has supported Stealing Solo. It's awesome that we're, growing the way we have, growing the way we are. And I'll be back tonight with the High Council. So I don't know what we're going to be covering, but I'm going to make sure the other guys bring up Gary Kurtz, because maybe it's not the coolest of topics, but it's pretty important to bring up Gary Kurtz when you talk about Star Wars, because without him, without his contributions, his ideas, his level-headedness being brought to the franchise, well, Star Wars wouldn't be what it is today. So take a moment the next time you watch Star Wars and look at the name Gary Kurtz and realize how important it was. I'll be back next time, tomorrow, at the same time, with more content here on the channel.